Allah, Allah, Allah.
Ladies and gentlemen, selamat sejahtera dan selamat sepup. Today we have a very special guest for a conversation that a lot of you have been anticipating. We have with us here today the one, the only Firdaus Wong Y Hang. Terima kasih bro Firdaus kerana
Thank you
sudi
so much.
masuk ke podcast saya. Thank you so much for popping by. It's an honor
Thank
to
you so much, Victor.
meet you. Cool. So the conversation that we're having today is one that I think is extremely interesting because it focuses on something that Bro Firdaus specializes in. For those of you who don't know who Bro Firdaus is, so he is a pengasas MGO MRN dan Merdeka Times, amongst other things, penasihat pakar dakwah dan komunikasi USAS, corporate trainer, and amongst other things, one of the what we call heroes of dakwah or Islamic educators in this country. And we are honored to have him here on this podcast today. Bro Firdaus,
Yep, Victor.
what is it that brought you to this moment in time? Like, why were you willing to have this conversation with me? Because the topic of this conversation is defenders of Dakwah or divider of society, and that kind of is related to the topic of what we have today. We are living in a Malaysia today where there is a very legitimate want for people to have religion be a part of their lives. And I think that
Yeah.
people like yourself, they fulfill that need. You're a very educated person in a lot of different ways, and what you share has resonance with people. But some people also, they say that you divide up society in a whole bunch of different ways. But before we even get into that, I mean, like, have you ever tried looking yourself up on a chat GPT before? Because there is a little bit of a background here which we could share. But
Okay.
this is what we have right over here. So
Mm.
ChatGPT says that this is who you are. You are a preacher, dawah figure, and you are known for a mix of religious outreach and controversy. You run, of course, MRM, which is multiracial reverted Muslims. Is that right?
Yep.
All right, multiracial reverted Muslims. And actually, like, there's been a lot of discussion on you. Like, when my fans heard about like this discussion, right, like they were like absolutely fascinated. And yeah, there are lots of opinions about you, which we could show on the screen right about now. Some
Yeah.
people say that, well, you're a great dakwah, shall we say, hero. But some people call you, and this is not me, right? Like, this is what some people say. They call you a professional victim. They say that they ask the question, isn't it tiring to be constantly hateful? And some people, they discuss like the things that you have talked about how you asked if it's true that Murtad sucks up to the Malays. There's a discussion on that as well, and it's not particularly flattering amongst other things. But I just want to know, like, who are you, Bro Firdaus? And I guess, how do you approach this idea of dakwah to people?
Okay. Well, either we like it or we don't like it. People will have opinions about us regardless of what we say and what we do.
Mhm.
Either they understand us or they do not understand us. People always have their own perceptions. And of course, the fact that I accepted your invitations to be on this podcast is not so much about justify or to defend myself. Because for me, there's nothing for me to defend. Unless I'm being brought to the court, yes, then yes, I might have something to defend, right?
Yeah.
But a conversation like this is what we need the most in Malaysia, in which I've been propagated for many, many years, that we must open up to the ideas of being agree to disagree. Okay, let's give some example that we, with our parents, with our own family, with our own siblings, we have differences too. The one who share the same blood type, our own siblings, our own parents, we do have differences. So obviously, we're going to have differences with people who do not share the same DNA as us, right? Now, so to answer your questions about who I am, well, I have presented myself, I share myself that I do not consider myself to be the hero of Dakwah that some people call me as, or maybe the way you introduce me as a hero of Dakwah in Malaysia. I never consider myself as such. And even when people call me as Ustaz, I say that I'm not a Ustaz. I do not qualify to be a Ustaz, and I do not want to be called as a Ustaz. But maybe because people, out of respect, they still want to call me Ustaz. But of course, that doesn't define who I am, right? So, yeah. So, coming from a modest family background and originated from Jinjiang. I'm not sure how much you know about Jinjiang. Do you know where is Jinjiang, Victor?
No, I do not.
Where are you from, Victor? If you don't
I'm-
mind, because this podcast is like we try to be very casual.
yeah,
I
sure.
think I think you know more about me than I know about you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I am what we call a Bangsa Johor, but whenever I talk about being a Bangsa Johor, then my friends who are actually from Johor, they will laugh at me. They're all like, "What Bangsa Johor? You barely go back to Johor at all." Yeah, but it's been quite a long time ever since I was really like living in Johor, but I have a lot of good memories about that place, as I'm sure that you have memories of living in Jinjiang as well. I mean, I don't know very much about Jinjiang, but Google says that it's in Kepong, right?
Yes, yes. Which part of Johor are you from, Victor?
Johor Bahru.
Johor Bahru. And currently you are staying in?
So I'm staying in KL.
Oh, staying in KL. Okay.
Yep.
Now, Jinjiang, why I have to introduce myself coming from a Jinjiang, because I'm a in and out, I'm a Jinjiang boy. And I don't deny the fact that I'm from Jinjiang. Of course, some people might be ashamed to introduce themselves coming from Jinjiang. They were ready to introduce themselves, oh, I'm from Kepong, but in fact, their kampung is Jinjiang. Now, Jinjiang, especially I'm coming from Jinjiang Utara. Jinjiang Utara is a place where it's very notorious for that kind of Chinese gangsterism over there.
Like
Okay.
Abeng, Alien, that kind of thing. I'm not sure if like people have heard these words recently.
Well, Abing and Alien is a terms that maybe we say being popularized by Singaporean. Abing, Alien. And of course, then you have the My FM, Lam Tak Wing, and such who say, oh, Abing. That's why you have the Abing and Liang Po Po movies, lah, right?
Well, Chinese start already, yeah.
Yeah. For me, I just try to be very casual because that's who I am. So people who pretend or think they know who I am, they might not have met me in person,
That's true.
or they have not interacted with me. So for me, fine, up to them. And of course, just like you mentioned about some people commented in certain social media saying that, is it tiring being someone being hateful? For me, well, it depends on, I think it is more tiring for people to hate me than being someone who being hated. Because it consumes a lot of your energy to
I
hate someone.
know. But like also the very fact that you are who you are, right? Like it makes it so divisive and polarizing. Like when it comes to this question of like religion or people who are related to religion, right? Like people cannot have a sensible conversation anymore. Which is like
That's why we say, as much as a lot of people say we need to be more matured nations,
Okay.
in terms of engaging in political differences, cultural differences, racial differences, religious differences. For me, I hardly can accept the fact that after close to 70 years of independence, we still have certain taboo that we do talk about. Can you just imagine that? Are you married, Victor?
No.
Not yet. Okay, good for you. Now, you just imagine, Victor, your parents, for example, after married for 30, 40 years, and they still try to avoid certain topic between them.
Yep.
Now, that marriage, there is some problem with the marriage. Why? Because marriage is not that you have to be, you have to expose everything at one time. No, but it's like being open with one another, and that is what living together is all about. Right? Not necessarily you have to agree every single thing, 100%.
Yep.
Not necessary. So coming back to Jinjiang, why do I say Jinjiang? Before Abing and Alien being famous, in fact, a lot of people, although they do not know where is Jinjiang, they might have heard the terms called Jinjiang Joe. Have you heard about that before? Jinjiang Joe?
Well, no, I've not.
Maybe your audience might be able to resonate that, because Jinjiang Joe is quite famous, that terms. And even last time when I was in Jinjiang, I never know why people call Jinjiang Joe. until someone told me, oh, Jinjiang Joe is like, that kind of people, they are coming from Jinjiang, they are very kampong, they are very Chinese, very Chinaman-like. Okay, Jinjiang Joe. In fact, I have a lot of friends from Johor, from all the way up north to Kedah and Penang. They heard about the term Jinjiang Joe too. So growing up there, meaning that coming from a very Chinese traditional background, in which almost every single street, you will have a different group of gangster. You are living with that. Okay, and for every single day, you can see fight took place in multiple places. Okay, in Jinjiang. And maybe you might have heard about the name Botak Chin.
Yes.
Now, Botak Chin, one of his hiding place used to be Jinjiang Utara in the 80s. Okay,
Wow.
in the 80s. And Jinjiang Utara used, I do not know either it is still right now, Jinjiang Utara used to be one of the largest new Chinese villages in Malaysia. So, coming from that background, so why I talk about a lot about Jinjiang, to understand the context where I'm coming from. Although I know that some people say, you're no longer a Chinese, you are not qualified to talk about Chinese, you are not that Chinese, don't talk about Chinese. Sometimes it's the same questions that China press used to ask me many, many years ago before COVID, where they pose these questions to me. They say, some people say after you become Muslim, you're no longer a Chinese, so what you have to respond? I say, I don't really have to defend myself, because Chineseness is not being proved by how Chinese I am until you can prove, you can show me what defines a Chinese. If you are born as a Chinese, you are Chinese, regardless how you want to portray yourself as.
Wonderful.
Like today, you have how many Chinese today that try to be more Westerner than a Chinese, right? So are they less Chinese right now? No. So I say, what is your definitions of being a Chinese? If a Chinese mean that someone who eat pork, then how about Chinese who are vegetarian? They're no longer Chinese then, right? So, Chinese is, Chinese is someone who can speak Chinese. I said, then I can speak multiple dialect. I can speak Cantonese, Mandarin, Hakka, Hokkien.
I guess that
And-
all the bananas are no longer Chinese. Like, sorry, you
and
thrown away all your Chineseness.
Exactly. So when people try to criticize me by saying you're no longer a Chinese, I try not to respond to them, because why? I don't want to give so much effort in replying to something which is absurd. Reason being is that
Absolutely.
you have no ground to talk about what Chinese, until you prove to me, you define what Chinese is. As simple as that.
Absolutely. And this is actually one reason why I wanted to talk to you, because I feel that you're the kind of person where if you actually look a little bit more closely, then you might see that some things end up breaking the stereotype image of Firdaus Wong Wai Hang. Let me go ahead and give you an
My
example.
pronunciation is Hong.
Wong Wai Hong.
Yes,
Wong Fei
because
Hong. Wong.
I understand why you say Wong Wai Hang, because Hung, right? And my teacher used to call me Wong Wai Hang too, until I say, no, it's Hong.
Oh, okay.
In Mandarin is 黄伟雄，伟大的伟，英雄的雄。
好的，伟大的英雄。Now, I will now show you one reason why I thought that it was very interesting to talk to you. So then, there's this video that you made a while ago.
Menggunakan gelaran type C dan
Alright.
berlakulah adil, kerana keadilan itu adalah lebih dekat dengan takwa. Dan jikalau kita mahu menjadi orang bertakwa, maka lakukanlah keadilan, berhentilah menggunakan gelaran type C dan sebagainya, hentikanlah semua ini. Kita tak setuju.
Now, why do I show this? I showed this because that is a direct contradiction, right? Of like the image that some people have of you as a racist. But then at the same time, right? Like when you think about the way that people behave, right? And the sorts of dynamics that we have in this world, right? Like it's still a very complex environment, right? Like your audience can be racist and then maybe you are not racist. And then like you might say something, then people might misinterpret you, and then like they believe another thing, and then somehow or another that it all gets really twisted along the way. But I want to go to something a little bit more basic. Bro Firdaus, can you tell us a bit, right, about your journey to becoming a Muslim and then becoming a preacher. So I read somewhere, right, that you converted to Islam in 2005. Is that right? Was that the time when you were in Xinjiang?
2005, yes, I reverted to Islam in 2005. Yes, correct. And during that time, I'm no longer stay in Xinjiang. I have moved out, but still in
Mm,
Kepong.
I
Still in
see.
Kepong.
Oh
Yeah,
wow, you moved out. Interesting. So
yeah.
like, did that have anything to do with the family issue? Because like I know that a lot of people, right? Like whether you're talking about like the kid Rayan Wong. Have you heard of Rayan Wong before?
Ryan Wong, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Rayan
that
Wong.
boy.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So then like there are all these stories, right, about how like, okay, uh if you convert to Islam, maka maksudnya, according to some people, you dah masuk Melayu. So then, like, some people also say that, like, you became a Hanjian, you betrayed your race, which is what you talked about a little bit earlier as well. So then, now, whether that's true or not, right, is like a separate matter. Like, we would say that's not true. But then the question is, did you have any problems, right, when you converted to Islam?
No, I don't. I don't have to be. There is no issue at all when I want to become a Muslim,
No issue.
because well, my family accepted it because they know me very well. The fact that my family accepted me, because one thing is that they know me very well. That when I took a decisions, I will steadfast on the decisions. I know what I'm doing, okay, and I will be responsible either it's right or wrong,
Mm,
right? So when I became Muslim, when I make the decision to become a Muslim, I didn't ask for permission. I just informed them that, yes, I'm going to be a Muslim. And of course, alhamdulillah, all praise to Allah, that, well, they understood my intentions. To say they fully supported might not. I don't say support, but they acknowledge my decisions. No hoo-ha, no fiasco, no chaos. Everything went well.
that's good
So
for you.
because that is how my as a person, that is how I am. That being honest, because for me, being honest is the best policy. Because when you are being honest, you don't have to remember what you used to say to other people, because you do not need to remember all the lies that you have created to tell different people at different time. So being honest is the best policy. So I don't have to remember, because I have nothing to lie. I have nothing to hide as well. So yeah, so reverted to Islam in 2005.
Mm.
But to understand the context is that, how do I become a Muslim? Did I plan to become a Muslim? No, never. Never. Especially coming from Xinjiang.
Mm.
You have to understand, especially coming from a Xinjiang, where, now, Victor, you and me are Chinese. I'm not sure either how honest can we and how open can we have conversations in this podcast. Because I want to have a very open and honest podcast here.
Mm.
I mean, not only here, whatever podcast, I try to be as honest, because what we want to hear is not something that is being sugarcoated. If you want to listen to something sugarcoat, listen to what politicians have to say. Then yes, go for it, right? You and me are Chinese,
Mhm.
okay? And most probably a lot of your audience are Chinese background too.
Sure, some people might say Tongyan, but of course there are like people of different races. And I think that's also something interesting to talk about a bit later as well.
Yeah,
But
because
yeah,
because when both of us are Chinese, right? Let's put into perspective, right? I'm brought up in Xinjiang. Again, I'm talking about Xinjiang. Why Xinjiang? Because every day we talk about races. We talk about race.
Mhm.
Okay? Now, when Chinese are together, we are talking back in the 90s. Who do we talk about? Have you heard about the terms that, Mlan 都唔係馬拉人，唔爛島都唔係唐人，唔難飲都唔係印度人. Of
Mhm.
course, they don't call 印度人, they call 基隆人,
Mm.
right? Now, these are the stereotype that we have,
Yep.
being a
Yeah.
Chinese towards other races. And I try not to go beyond that. Of course, I can go beyond that, because I used to say it in a lot of places, either you realize or not. I used to say a lot of places that, how's this stereotype? And I try to break this kind of stereotype, that, stereotyping a certain race and how racist is someone, blah, blah, blah. No, I try not to go beyond that.
Yep.
Coming from
For sure.
Xinjiang, we look down upon the Malay. True?
Mhm.
Right?
So
Victor?
I'm not personally from Xinjiang, but I resonate with what you have said. So, like for example, right? So then, there are a few different like stereotypes that like some people will use. Like for example, oh, like Malay people are lazy, for example, right? And then there
Yeah.
are some others as well. Like for example, we would call them by, let me see. So like wow, I'm like trying to remember my Cantonese like live right now. But like yeah, no. I do know
Juana,
that Guaylo is like what
you
we
you
use
you
for
you you
like
heard about the terms Juana?
Juana. Yes, I do.
Now,
There you go.
what
Juana
does
means like
Juana
wild
mean?
man, right?
Wild man, barbaric man, those who have no civilizations,
Mm-hmm.
right? I wrote that in my book. Of course, some people say, no, your understanding of Juana is wrong. We do not refer to that. Juana only have two meaning. Either you are foreigners or you are barbaric.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if you refer to the Malay as Juana, obviously they are not foreigners. So there is only one definition that left, which is barbaric, no civilizations people. So why there is a term being used in dialect, in especially in Hokkien, Juana is Hokkien, that being referred to a Malay, because Chinese, right? So when we look down upon other race, and of course we as a Chinese, we've been brought up with a lot of pride that, hey, we as a Chinese, we have 5,000 years of civilization, man. You look at the Malay, you look at other races, they don't have our civilization, that kind of things, right? Regardless, either you are English educated or not English educated, you will have the pride, because that's what being told. Okay, I'm not sure
That's
either
true.
you listen to Cantonese song or not. Do you listen to Cantonese song?
Not really that much, apart from
Not really
like
that much. Back in the 90s or maybe early 2000, there is this rap group called 112 called LMF. Have you heard about LMF?
no, I've not.
Oh no. Okay. Meaning I'm more Chinese than you now.
You could be more Chinese than me. That's absolutely right.
Okay. LMF, they have come up with a song title. Later you can search for it, or maybe you can even search for it right now. 1127. It's very simple. You type at YouTube LMF 1127. That song is talking about Bruce Lee. Okay, 有佢教曉我哋唔係東亞病夫黃皮膚。Okay, meaning is that 我哋5000年歷史你有冇？我哋5000年歷史你有冇？ Now in that lyric, keep on emphasizing, we as a Chinese, we are being proud. And Bruce Lee teach us to be proud of ourselves. Okay, we have 5,000 years of civilization. Do you have it? 我哋有5000年歷史，你有冇？ It's like challenging other people. 你有冇？ Do you have it? Meaning you don't have it, right? That kind of things. So, do I have a plan to become a Muslim? No, I never. Because one of the things is that, well, I'm talking about myself. I do not represent everyone. Religion is not the most important for a lot of Chinese around me that I know of. So religion is there, twice in a month, or maybe when there's a celebration or someone pass away, that is where religion come into pictures. But other than that, do we go to religious classes? I don't think so. I can't remember. Maybe pray. Yeah, we pray. Do we read religious scriptures? I don't think so. Not that much.
So your family was not personally religious?
Religious, it depends on how do you define religious. If you define religious being pious in the sense that you pray, okay,
well,
then
religious in the sense of like subscribing to a particular faith before you eventually converted to Islam.
Then if we are using that loose definition, so what's going to happen is that people who do not practice religion, but by subscribing to a religion, also can be called religious too.
Sure.
Right?
So
that is a very loose kind of definition. Because when you talk about definitions of religious, people might, okay, religious, that person, he follow this religion, very total one, okay, A, B, black and white, no gray area one. Then you have the understanding of that is what religious. But for some people, being religious means, they pray, being religious. But again, you have to differentiate between someone who is religious, meaning practice the religion, and someone who is religious, having knowledge about that religion.
Okay.
It's two different things.
Sure. So your family was not very religious
They
in the very
are
first
religious.
place.
I would say they are religious in the sense that they pray. They pray, they have, they are following religion, they are following Buddhism, but the Buddhism is not the same like majority of the Chinese having here in Malaysia. The Buddhism that they follow is Soka Kakai, Malaysia.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Okay, Soka Gakkai is from Japan, Zen Buddhism. During that time, I do not know what is Zen Buddhism whatsoever. I know, oh, Phật Cao là mẹ Cao Phật Cao lo, Phật Cao lo, Phật Cao lo. Just say Phật Cao lo. Although what kind of school of Buddhism, we do not know. In fact, only after I become Muslim, then only I know, okay, basically in Buddhism, you have Hinayana, Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana, and so many branches of other things. Okay, interesting, right? So, no planning at all to become a Muslim. No, not at all.
Okay.
But of course, there are turning point that eventually I am who I am today to become a Muslim, which is, I try to summarize it, Victor. When I was 11 years old, my grandfather passed away. And of course, my grandfather passed away, they are doing certain ritual. My grandfather doesn't follow that kind of Buddhism that we follow. Folklore religions, Chinese folklore religions, and then you have like mixture of Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism over there. You know, the Chinese, you have Ta Zai, the ceremony, right? Now, during that ceremony, the monk or the priest recite something.
Yeah, it's like the sutras, right?
In a language that I don't understand. Do you understand what they recite?
I do not.
We do not. But we just find it amusing that, okay, sounds good because with all the music playing on, fine. So being a young boy, 11 years old, I'm very curious. I asked them. I asked my uncle and auntie, what is this ceremony is all about? What is this ritual is all about? So they say, this ritual basically is for your grandfather to go to paradise. I say, okay lah, not much question asked lah. But as we know, in a Chinese ceremony, you have this prayer paper, right? You fold the prayer paper and we burn the prayer papers, right? But one of the prayer papers that we burn is that hell bank notes, Yam Si Ji. Right? Now, that MCG, of course, we are talking about the inflation is quite high lah, because each note is like a million or billion.
Right.
Zero behind, right?
So for clarification to the audience, the Yam CC that Bro Firdaus is talking about is like the hell's currency. Basically, you burn it so that in the afterlife, then your relatives are going to have like 大钱, and they can buy like whatever it is that they buy in heaven or hell. Whichever it is that they believe in.
So for me, it's like, okay, I just received the answer from my uncle, auntie that that ceremony is for my grandfather to go to paradise. But here I am burning the hell bank notes. So I'm a bit curious. I was like, wait, that ceremony is for grandfather to go to paradise. This hell money, hell bank notes is for who? Then they told me, basically, this one is for your grandfather in case he cannot go to paradise. I'm sure you heard about this answer before from anybody. Then I was like, wait. Because being a Chinese, regarding where you're coming from, we always being taught with the Chinese philosophy that in this world you must become a good person, because when you become a good person, you will go to paradise. If you become a bad person, you will go to hell. And hell is a place of punishment. It's never a place, and it never being portrayed as a place of enjoyment, right? Okay. So right now, this hell bank notes is for my grandfather. If he go to hell, seems like he can enjoy too in hell. Then I was like, wait. Then what is the point of the what advice given to us that you must do good and become a good person so you can go to paradise and enjoy? If you go to hell, you will be tortured. So it seems like now, how are you going to be tortured when you have money, man? Then of course they say,
there are a lot of ways to be tortured if you have money. I mean, like you could be, I don't know, like Daim Zainuddin and have people like chase after you amongst other things. But besides the point,
But then I say, I press further, I say, how does that make sense? Then they just told me, we also don't know. People do, we do lah. But I say that also contradict with another Chinese philosophy. Yang they zole dao zole meh, yang they sexy dao sexy meh. Meaning, I do the translation. People do, you follow? Why you have to follow? Just because other people do. If people were to eat, you also eat meh, right? So that is, I mean, by me saying that, you can see you are laughing. Why? Because
thank you for protecting my YouTube monetization.
Those sentence is something very familiar to us, right? Yes. As a Chinese. So then they said, we don't know. We do lah. Just follow on it. They said, cannot. then of course they start to raise their voice and they say, just do it lah. Don't ask so much. You know, uncle, auntie, sometimes when they get angry, it's very difficult. So I stopped asking, not because they give me a good answer, but because I'm afraid I will be the next one in the coffin. So I stopped asking. But of course, there is a breaking, not the first turning point where I have a lot of questions. To say that I'm very religious, no, I pray during that time. But do I know a lot about Buddhism? No, I don't. I don't. And I would say up until a certain extent, a lot of people also do not know and might not have read the Tipitaka, the Sutra, whatsoever. So that is my turning point. Only after I graduated from SPM, yes, I become a free thinker.
I see.
Have you ever to search for LMF 1127?
Yeah, I mean, like we have the lyrics
Don't go
actually
for the
over here.
vulgar version, because they have different song that's quite vulgar as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like
They swear.
yeah, of course. And like if you
look,
look over here, like this is what it actually says. And yeah, that is
yes,
basically the music video, and
you
that
you
is
just
the translation.
you try to play the song, and you can see the lyrics if you see that.
You gotta play the lyrics, sure. I mean, we can.
Yes. So for your audience to understand where I'm coming from.
I see.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be playing. Hold on.
1940.
Okay, so I think I get the point that you're trying to get across, right? Which is that
Yeah.
they are extremely arrogant people. Like they have like a very strong sense of pride, right, in who they are. But along the way, when you're going through all of these like different rituals and then you're seeing all these gangsters, you start questioning for yourself, right? Like, why is this all happening?
No, I don't really question, because when you are in that community, something is just like feel very normal. Is being normalized. You do not know, is this wrong or right? Because since your own community is saying it, so it must be true. How can the entire community being wrong in that sense, right? So growing up in Jinjiang, well, I don't think so much about all those racist things. But of course, I have Malay friends, I have Indian friends, because I studied in Sekolah Kebangsaan. So to be racist is not something that I don't think so that I have that, because I play football. I have Malay friends, I have Indian friends. So and sometimes when I in need of help, sometimes those people that we look down upon are the one who come and help us.
Sure. Of course, yeah.
And coming to our own race, they might be chicken out.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, like, we can definitely see that happening. But there is something that I do want to go right here and show you, though. So then
Yeah.
earlier, right, when you were talking about this idea, right, about racial arrogance, right, like, we could say that maybe it's something that is not confined to like just one community as well. And I thought
Yeah.
that like you might find this interesting.
Yeah.
Not sure if you can see the screen, but there is this image that I found right over here. So then somebody left a comment on your channel, right, that says muka type C tapi Muslim ni agenda dapik Melayu Islam perlu berhati-hati. Which is like, I was like thinking about this, right? And like it just made me wonder, right? Like, why do people say things like this? Of course, not everybody in any community is like this, right? Like, but the broader point is that in every community, right, you are going to have like some good people and you're also going to have like some bad people. Like when we talk about like say Chinese people, right, in Jinjiang, I don't know like how many percent of the people that you see there would be gangsters or otherwise, but within every community, you're going to see like some good people and also some bad people. But yeah, so like for you, how did that sort of like influence your thinking until you?
No, whatever that I experienced there is just an experience that for me it doesn't really shape my identity. The fact that I choose, when I say I choose to go to primary school, Sekolah Kebangsaan, I really choose. Because normally when you come to primary school, it is our parents who choose our school. But in this case, I'm the one who choose to go to Sekolah Kebangsaan, not knowing what is waiting for me in Sekolah Kebangsaan, because my sister, my elder sister, and my elder brother, both of them study in Chinese vernacular school, right? So I choose not knowing what it is, because when I was in kindergarten, I was in a Chinese kindergarten too. So I don't know what is waiting for me. So when I go there, it doesn't really shape me, my surrounding, what people talk about Malay, Indians, Chinese, whatsoever. It doesn't really shape me. Okay, it doesn't really shape my thinking so much, because ultimately, maybe because I'm a bit rebellious since very young. I like to question a lot of things. Okay? I like to question why like this, why like that, why the assumption must be this way, why it cannot be other way. I'm not saying that I'm correct. Neither I'm saying you are wrong. It's just that I want to have that kind of conversation. I like to have conversation with people that I disagree. Not necessarily that I must agree with him at the end of the discussion, but at least I understand from his perspective, which I might still disagree with. But that's fine. Then at least I know where he's coming from. Because in this world, you just cannot convince everyone to follow your way.
I see.
Right? So coming back to you, in every community, that's why when you look at I've been very consistent talking about the issue of racism, extremism, and so on and so forth. Now, when I talk about that, I have defended the Chinese, I have defended the Indian, I have defended the Malay. So what is my grounds over there when I defend different group of people? Well, very simple. What I'm defending is not them. What I'm defending is not that particular group. What actually I am defending is my principle, that right is right, wrong is wrong, regarding who say it and who do it. As
Wonderful.
simple as that.
Beautiful.
So when I give you an example, I might jump the gun. If you still remember the issue of this Indian boy step on the Quran,
Yep. Ryan Selva, as we know.
Ryan, witness warrants, Selvanathan, whatsoever. Now, I've been very busy. I know about this incident, but I didn't care about looking up about this news because I'm too busy with other commitment during that time. Now, after around 1 week plus, when all the hoo-ha, when our friend, our fellow Malaysians, Indian, being criticized, talking about, your people, your type of people, doing all this kind of thing. Now, let's think about this for a moment. Why do I need to come out? Okay, why do I need to come out and make an announcement that this boy is a Muslim?
Yeah, that was like very interesting, dude. Because like if we look across all of his history on Threads, none of it indicates that he is a Muslim. And he even said, right, that he is a penyokong DAP, he loves babi, amongst other things. He had a cross and everything like that.
Victor, I don't even know that is the boy that I met. Why? He didn't use his real name, number one. Okay, so I didn't recognize him. Number two, even the pictures that is being posted around all the medias, it's not someone that I know. Until someone leaked all his personal informations, and I double checked with my own contact, and the name and the phone number is tally 100%.
I see. Yeah.
Now,
which is why like, this came out, right?
Yes. Coming back to my question just now, right? Now, after all this fiasco that the Indian community has been criticized because of his action, now, why do I need to come out? This is a question for your audience and for everyone to think about. Why do I need to come out publicly and claim that this boy, Ryan Witness Warren, is a Muslim? What is my objective and what is my intentions behind that? I can just remain quiet and remain silent, knowing the truth, but let the Indian community continue to be criticized by other people. Can I do that? Obviously, we have a choice. I can do that. But why I choose not to? And not only that, despite me knowingly very well, there will be a repercussion if I were to say so. If I were to do so, there will be a backlash if I were to say so. Multiple kind of repercussions and backlash. For example, why only after 1 week you say this? What is your proof? This blah, 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 whatever. Now, but I still come out. Why? Because my principle is not the pleasure of people. Me as a Muslim, my principle is to seek the pleasure of the Creator Allah alone. Because when it comes to the Quran, Quran is very clear. Chapter number 2, verse 42. The truth and falsehood is never the same. And do not conceal the truth when you already knew it. Now, for me being a Muslim, I know this boy. Regardless, either you say his threats never showed the sign of being a Muslim. I didn't follow his threat, so I didn't know. Right? Until you told me and until somebody shared with me as well. Okay, but that doesn't change the fact that me and him interacted before. That doesn't change the fact. Because those people who say all those nasty things, they were not there when he took his shahada, when he texted me, until I have to show all these kind of messages that he has sent to me, right? So my goal is to defend the truth, to defend the principle, not people. Either you are Muslim, either you are non-Muslim, either you are Chinese, Indian, Malay, you are right, I will defend your right. As simple as that. But remember this, Victor. Everybody have a principle. But the challenge is not having principle. The challenge is, can you be consistent applying the same principle in every situation? Can't you?
Okay.
We can denounce. Corruption is bad. You know, all this politician, this is bad. You know, how can this millionaire, billionaire, whatsoever? Okay, good. Okay, I denounce corruption too. I denounce it. But let ask yourself, when you're not wearing your seatbelt, when you overtake a car at a double line, when you break the law and a traffic police stops you, can you be consistent if, I say, if the officer try to initiate some bribery? Saya boleh tolong ni. And we ask, Tuan, saya tak banyak duit, boleh tak bagi you 50? Now, we might say, hey bro, wait, bro. I just giving him 50 ringgit only, you know. But the politician took millions. Wait. What is the difference between killing an innocent soul, either they are adult or children? Are you talking about the size or the life? You're talking about the life, you're not talking about the size.
Okay.
So 50 ringgit is still corruption. Billion ringgit, million ringgit is still corruption. So the thing is that, can you be consistent when you are doing project or under table? Or if I don't give, if you don't give, don't get lah.
Okay.
Right? But
Sure.
can you be consistent? That is the challenge to everybody, including myself, to be
Great.
truthful.
Okay. Awesome.
And sometimes we have to understand, Victor, just the way that some media outlets label me as being controversial and whatever. Now, you can remain as someone not controversial when you do nothing at all.
Sure.
Just like yourself. Do you think out there are people who are going to label you as controversial?
Of course. Naturally.
Of course. But deep in yourself, not necessarily you agree, because they might not understand what you are fighting for and what you are doing. But you don't consider yourself as controversial too.
Controversial just means that like people would talk about you. So then I don't disagree with that. I would say that people do talk about me, and it's not always that they would agree with me or disagree. But I think
Exactly.
that you do have a personal truth inside yourself, which is
Exactly.
the thing that I think that you're kind of like hinting towards, right?
Exactly. No, exactly, Victor. This is where we are talking about where, well, someone who has no controversial, just by using your definition just now, meant that that person, if someone is being labeled as controversial, meaning that person is having an opinion. They are doing something, right? I believe this is what.
If you did something as an accident, right?
YouTube,
then
right?
yeah, of course.
Exactly.
But it might not be like an opinion. Like they might have done something, right? And then that becomes controversial. So
Okay.
then
Done something.
yeah,
Victor?
like for example, like if you're like Tamin Bahri, right? So then like you happen to step on something, and then people say
wait.
later that that's a religious symbol, right? So then like
Okay.
that's not you're having an opinion, but like
For-
they might say it's controversial.
Maybe for Tami we put aside, but we go back to the
Can.
having an opinion. Now, having an opinion is that you can manifest it in the form of speech and in the form of actions. True?
Sure.
Yeah. So, meaning you are doing something. You're having an opinion. That shows that you are just another human being that have opinion. Either you have the courage to voice out or not is a different matter.
Okay.
Right? So, yeah, that is how human beings work.
Sure.
Exactly.
Okay. Sure,
Yeah.
sure. So this actually brings me back to a very important question, and one that I definitely need to understand a bit more. So then you mentioned that it's very important to speak truth and also to be true to yourself in that sense, right?
Yeah.
So how did Islam end up becoming something that was true to you? Because like there are different ways of like viewing the world, right? So then, of course, you could have like the Zen Buddhists, right, who view the world in a certain way, but maybe they just don't understand anything. Maybe like they were dumb. They didn't read enough of the Tripitaka or like, for example, the Mahabharata to understand like their religion. There are some Christians out there who don't understand their own religion at all. But why is it that for you, Islam became a source of truth? And how did it happen? Do you remember the exact moment when you decided to say your Shahada and how that ended up becoming a part of you?
Okay. Let's continue from where I left off just now. When I talk about when I was the age of 18, I become a free thinker. And then I enjoy my life the way I enjoy it. Like going to clubbing, pub, disco, karaoke, these kind of things. So it's not something strange if I know the song of LMF, okay, and many other more. Linking Park, whatsoever you call it, right? So I used to come from that background. Now, I used to enjoy so much. But then it come to the moment where I question myself. I ask myself, because when I become a free thinker, now being a free thinker doesn't mean that I become an atheist. Because a lot of people, they misunderstood that, oh, free thinker, someone who don't believe in God. No. Atheists don't believe in God. Free thinker believe in God. It's just that they do not subscribe or follow any particular religion. Okay? So me being a free thinker, I still believe in God. But I believe in God, but I have some sort of rough ideas about what God should be, a minimum criteria that I can accept. What are the criteria? The criteria is very simple. God is not a creation, it's not a human being, it's not an animal, it's not anything, around me. And anything that is creation, and creations cannot become God. Why? Why I have that criteria? Because growing up watching TVB, watching Chinese movie, and being a Chinese myself, we have seen tons and tons of gods, okay, in Chinese movie. Xu Hong la, this and that la,
Okay.
Yok Wong Tai Tai la, whatsoever you call it. Now, why I have that definition during that time? Because very simple. If a human being can become God, then one day there could be a possibility of me being a God too. Because if you go back to how someone being promoted as God, this is a conversation that I have with my friend, where I ask how that person become a God. Is he a God when he's alive or after he died? So they would just answer me, oh, when he's a human being, he's not God. Only after he died, he become God. So I say, interesting. So how did he become God? He said, oh, yeah. He become God because after he died, then people look back into his life history and see, this guy is a nice person, good person, a lot of contribution to the nations, right? That's why you have a God of war kind of things, right? So that is where people promote that person to become a God. So I say, interesting. But I have another question. Instead of worshipping that person who being promoted as God, why don't you worship the person who promote him as God? Because it seems like if I have the ability and the authority to promote someone to become God, then to promote someone to become a CEO, meaning I have more power compared to you. Because I can hire you and I can fire you too. Right? So, and they say, oh, we never think about that, but doesn't matter lah. Okay, fine. So I have that definition. And during that time, to be fair, I have rejected most of the religion in Malaysia, okay, including Buddhism, Taoism, Confucianism, Christianity, Hinduism,
Okay.
except Islam. But that doesn't mean that I immediately become Muslim or I in love in Islam. No.
Okay.
Not at all. Why? Because in Malaysia, Islam has been always being perceived as a religion that is being very exclusive to the Malay people. That's why you say, masuk Islam, masuk Melayu, Malay kau, Malayan Konin. Even Aidilfitri is being called as Malayan Konin, Malayan Konin. In fact, Aidilfitri is never a Malayan Konin. It's never a Malay New Year, right? Because Malay don't have a New Year. Malay don't have a New Year. It's not like a Chinese New Year or the Western New Year or the Pongal whatsoever. No, they don't have. So it's not those kind of misconception that still arise. No. But Islam is being very exclusive, only to the Malay. And hey, I'm a Chinese. I cannot become Malay, and I don't want to become a Malay. I'm still a Chinese, and I will always be a Chinese. Done. So I never considered it. I never go and read the Quran. No, nothing. Nothing. But of course, after 4 years of extensive, not research, extensive of going for clubbing, minimum 1 week, 3 times, minimum. ladies night, Wednesday and Thursday is confirmed. Saturday night is confirmed. Now, but there are a moment where almost every night I will be going to the club. So that is how extensive I am. Hard liquor, come on, beer is only for the novice. Hard liquor, sorry, no Coke, no Sprite, no ice. The type that I go to enjoy last time is that, we call it trumpet. Trumpet is that, there's a hole, and you just put 3 seconds, and then you just swallow it.
Wow, Heng, it's like you drank all of that so that like in the future then you don't need to drink anymore.
And in fact, when I drink it, Victor, to be serious on it, I never thought that one day I'm going to become a Muslim and one day I'm going to have this conversation with you talking about Islam. Yeah. No, during that time, I'm just another Chinese guys who go for clubbing, enjoy, pay cover charge 17 ringgit, get a beer, or open a bottle, and then you have how many entrance, how many cover, how many hit you can go in, and then if you cannot finish it, you can put there, and then next time you can come back and enjoy it. That kind of things. Simple.
Okay.
After 4 years of extensive enjoying myself, of course, I start to ask myself, because I believe in God.
Sure.
And I believe, now when I talk about belief, later we can explain about that. I believe that perfect justice will never be achieved in this world. So therefore, I believe there is a reward and punishment. But since I'm a Chinese and grow up in that environment, I believe yao tin tong yao dei yok. There is a paradise, there is a hellfire. I believe. I never see it, but I believe this place must exist, because if not, then what is the purpose of me continue to be a good person in this world? Because there seems like no reward and no perks for being a good person in this world. Okay? So there must be. What happened? I question myself. I ask, is life just all about enjoying myself, going to work, earn a living, married, having children, grow old, and die? Then what me different from the monkey in the jungle? Yes, I can continue to deny all these things, but deep in my heart, this is a question that I have, that I'm looking for the answer. I do not know where to search for the answer.
Okay.
But I just brave myself to ask my friend, a Muslim friend. I asked, because for me, the most important thing is about God, concept of God. So I asked, hey bro, we Chinese, traditional Chinese, when we worship, we have the idols in front, You guys, Muslim, what do you worship? So he told me, oh, we worship God. I said, what God? Every time I see you pray, I cannot see your God. Nothing. Because for us, it's always seeing is believing. Okay? But today, we cannot see seeing is believing, because even AI can deceive you.
Debatable. Okay.
Okay? So then I said, where's your God? I cannot see. No, you cannot see God, but God can see you. He exists, but you cannot see God. I said, what rubbish are you talking about, bro? If you cannot see something, how can you believe in something? Then he gave me an analogy. He asked me a question. He said, Wong, do you feel the wind? I said, yeah. Can you see the wind? I said, yeah, look at the branches and the leaves are moving. So there's the wind. Then he stopped and said, no. Those are the effect of the wind, not the wind itself. Of course, when you are sincere, if you are really sincere in asking questions and searching for an answer, you are not there to debate. And that's why I don't like debate. Not because I could not debate. Okay? Not because I could not debate. But for me, if I'm really searching for the truth, I want a conversation. I want back and forth kind of questions, that I can ask them, they can give me answer, I can give them answer whatsoever.
Yeah, I
Now,
mean, like, you were supposed to have a debate with Siti Kasim in 2019, right? But like,
we
somehow
talk
that.
about that later. If not, then we detour so much, right?
Sure, okay.
Then we detour so much. Then when he talked about that, he said, no, that is not the wind. That is the effect of the wind. I'm just remain silent. I'm thinking, I'm processing. In my house, okay, quite true also. But I didn't say it. Then he continued and he said, Wong, you just imagine, the wind is being created by God. You can't see the wind, but you can feel the wind, and you can see the effect of the wind. Then what makes you think you must and you should see God in order for him to exist? God exists. You believe, you can feel his existence, and you can see his creations. You can see his creation. When you see a drawing, you know there is a painter. When you see a footprint on the beach, regardless either you see anybody else there's nobody else there, but you believe somebody have walked on the beach before. Why? You see the footprint there. Sometimes you just don't have to see. Now, have I read about the Quran during that time? No, I don't. But that answer sounds logical to me during that time. And I said, okay, this is the concept of God that I can accept.
Sure.
Because of a very simple answer, well, during the time when I took my shahada, my testimony of faith, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, I bear witness there is no God worthy to be worshipped except Allah, and I bear witness that Prophet Muhammad is his last and final messenger. I have not read the Quran. I don't even know who is Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Wow.
I don't know.
You did not know, and then you accepted, like, just like that.
I accept because of the concept of God is logical.
I see.
Because of the concept of God is logical. Now, first 6 years, me being a Muslim, do I practice Islam? Yes, I do. I practice Islam. But do I know a lot about Islam? No, I don't. Only in 2011, I started to learn about Islam. 6 years later. Yes, I pray. But other than that, I don't know much about Islam. That's why you cannot find much things about me talking about Islam pre-2011.
Wow.
Even search on my Facebook, you can search it.
Yeah,
Why?
but like when you said your shahada, I mean, like, was it like your friend basically coming up to you and saying, "Hey, like, so this is how you say a shahada, and then like this is what you do."
No.
You did on your
During
own?
that time, I was in Kuching, Sarawak. And then I decided to come back to Kuala Lumpur because I plan to come back to Kuala Lumpur because during that time I have some program. My program is that during that time I'm a event organizer. If you have ever heard about this movie called Gold and Ginchu. The Gold and Ginchu is not the Gold and Ginchu Fahmi Fazil acted in. No, that is I think the second or the third series. The first ever Gold and Ginchu, Ashraf Sinclair, Sazi Falak, Fazura, all those kind of people. I promote for them nationwide, doing the movie nationwide in a futsal center. So I come back. But while I was in Sarawak, in Kuching, I called my mom. I told my mom that I'm coming back to KL. And one of the things that I want to do is to become a Muslim. I just tell them, nothing to hide. Nothing to hide. So I just told them, and okay, alhamdulillah. So I just came back and go to Perkim and took my shahada, testimony of faith, and become a Muslim.
So when you do that, right, then that means that you have registered yourself. So it's not just like a personal admission of faith, but it's like you've also registered yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that seems actually like a very intense decision to make. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people have mentioned this before, right? But in this country, not necessarily in other countries, right? So the way that religion is institutionalized, right, is something that some people say, right? It's like Hotel California. Once you go in, then you cannot go out. So then that's actually one reason why, right? A lot of people, right, they view very negatively, right? This idea of like converting without faith or like without an understanding of what you may know about. But going back to your personal journey, right? So then you said that in 2011 you started to learn more. So then, like, how was that journey for you when you started to like learn a lot more?
I totally see Islam from a different perspective because last time I just used to pray, just like the rest of the majority of the Muslim, pray, fast in the month of Ramadan, and that's it. And I felt that, okay, at least I'm doing my task, my duty as a Muslim. But then when I learned about Islam, and I met this sheikh by the name of Sheikh Husseini, another Chinese, in which I don't know him
Right.
even at that time. I don't even know who is him during that time.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm
I think I saw him before.
I'm being scammed.
Right.
I'm being scammed actually to go to the program because another fellow revert, she invited me. She told me, "Hey, Firdaus, we're going to have a potluck. We're going to have makan. Hey, come on, bro. I used to drive all the way from Jinjiang to Klang just to eat Klang Pakute. Okay? So makan is my favorite, bro. So I said, okay, on. So I went there. I was about to take the food from the pot. And then she came and said, wait. We go inside first, listen to a sharing session first, then only we eat. I was like, kena scam lagi. Tak apalah.
Aduh.
So when you are being invited to a potluck, and that is the only potluck or the gathering that you have on that day, you will leave your stomach empty to enjoy the food. How
Right.
can you focus when the food is outside and you have to listen? But the way how Sheikh Husseini talk about Islam, very basic. Basic of Islam, articles of faith, pillar of Islam. Simple. I was like, wow. The way he talked like a monk, I was like, oh, these are the things that I never heard before. Although, articles of faith and pillar of Islam is even a young kids of 3-4 years old who know how to speak. They know about that, they memorize it. But me being a Muslim for 6 years, I don't even know that. Just imagine that. So after the session, I have an opportunity to interact with him. I asked, Ustad, can you give me an advice? Because I've been a Muslim for 6 years. What are the advice that, can you give me? He gave me a lot of advice, but one of the advice that make me do what I'm doing today is that when he said, Firdaus, you have to do Dakwah. Dakwah means inviting people to Islam. Okay, inviting people. But then I have a lot of curiosity. I give a lot of excuses. I say, Ustad, to do Dakwah, I said, Ustad, the thing that you shared just now, the articles of faith and pillar of Islam, I don't even know. How do I invite people? He said, no. You just invite. Invite with whatever information that you know. But Ustad, I don't know. Then he asked me, okay, when you become Muslim, what do you recite? I said, I know this. Testimony of faith. The I bear witness one. Then Ustad said, that one is enough lah. Because you already know 2. The Prophet said, convey from me even 1 sentence. So you already know 2 sentences. Then convey either one of it. But then I tried to run away again by giving this ultimate excuse that I have, which I hope is the ultimate one. But eventually I failed. Which I say, Ustad. Okay. I know the 2 shahada. But Ustad, me being a Muslim for only 6 years, Ustad, me, new Muslim 6 years. You see, a lot of Muslim, born Muslim, the Malay Muslim, the Indian Muslim who are born Muslim, they don't even do Dakwah, Ustad. Why should me, as a Chinese Muslim of 6 years, do Dakwah, Ustad? I thought I can run away lah with this excuse. Then he said, which caused me not to look back from that moment onwards. He said, Firdaus, listen. On the day of judgment, Allah will not ask you why other people are not doing what they're supposed to do and they need to do. But Allah will definitely ask you why you didn't do what you need to do. They will be asked, they have to prepare an answer. You will surely be asked and you have to prepare an answer and make sure you have a good answer for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Goosebump, bro. Goosebump.
Yeah, I can imagine. No, yeah.
And during that moment, I was like, no. I know I'm ignorant enough, but that is not an excuse for me to continue to be in denial and ignorance. So I go on a journey of searching, learning. Almost every single day and every single weekend, I will be attending classes. From only having 3 books in 6 years, okay, being a Muslim, now I think I spend more than 100,000 on books alone. Okay. Why? Because that is what Islam is all about. It's about with knowledge. Read. Okay? Is to educate yourself. So, yeah.
No, that's great. I mean, like, you definitely have not just your fardu ain, but also your fardu kifayah, as it were. Like, because you somehow had that, like, sense of duty, so to speak. And, this is actually very interesting, because a lot of people, right, you know, when they talk about like the whole dakwah thing, right, especially on Reddit or whatever, right, then they always say, for example, in referring to you, wah, Mualaf Cina ini lebih teguh memimpin daripada kami. Kita je yang lalai. They actually look up to you, and that's really great. But this is actually something interesting to think about, right? Because like what you said earlier is kind of related to this video that I saw on the Pro Media Touched It channel, in which a man actually asked a question to Dr. Zakir Naik. I'm not sure if you've seen this video before, but I'll show it to you right here. Have you seen this?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay. Let me
Yeah.
show you the sort of question that we have here, and then we'll eventually transition, right, into the Ryan Selva thing again. But it goes like this, right?
Sorry. But when I look at Malaysia, I'm very curious because when you consider, we are the majority Muslim country, religion is enshrined in the constitution, all the institutions with a lot of budgets. I still find that, the da'wah towards the Chinese or Indian, which has been with us for many, many years, has not been doing very well. I mean, the ones that you see typically are intermarriages, and that is driven by love. But as far as the normal communication, there's a lot of distrust and misconception, and there's a lot of factors. I mean, when I look at it, it could be we show bad examples, or our dai or the ustaz are not focusing. So there's many factors. So I guess the question is, you being in Malaysia for some time, and with your experience worldwide, what, in your opinion, is the issues that is preventing this da'wah to flourish in Malaysia?
The brother asked a very important question, a very relevant question.
I actually want to not focus on Dr. Zakir's answer here because I know that you have your own view on this right here. But how is the dakwah going for you? I know that you run a lot of these different types of programs nowadays, like for example your MRM, your tent, and a whole bunch of other things right there. How would you say that the dakwah effort is going in Malaysia? Would you say that it's going well, or would you say that it's going like badly? Do you think it can be better? And what's your view on it?
It could be better.
It could be better.
It could be better, and it can be improved. To say we are stagnant or to say that we are declining, which I disagree, because I can see there's a lot of effort nowadays with more awareness. Alhamdulillah, more and more people are getting involved, including the normal, I would say the normal public in the mosque. They start to have this kind of awareness because all this while they might have some, I would say, inferiority complex where they feel inferior. But with more awareness, with more knowledge, they have the courage. Because when we share about Islam, when we talk about da'wah, when we talk about invitation, a very simple example, Victor, if you're having your, housewarming party, who will you invite? Will you invite someone that you hate or someone that you know and you're comfortable with?
Ah, I see where you're going with this. Usually friends or people that you know well.
Exactly. Why? Because you care for them. You want them to, to be happy for you and, to know you. You want invite people because you hate the person. I hate you. That's why I invite you. No, you don't do that.
Okay.
You don't do that. So now what is the teaching of Islam? Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he say, you will not enter paradise until you have faith. And you will not have faith until you love for others what you love for yourself. So it's out of love because I love to go to paradise. So therefore, I hope paradise for other people. So when we are doing the invitation, it's because of out of love. I might not know you, Victor. I might not know a lot of strangers out there. And this is the thing that I always repeat myself, and I won't be tired repeat this. When I met a strangers having a conversation like this or on the street, I say, put into perspective. Today is weekend, public holiday, where a lot of people are spending their time with their loved one, with their families, holiday. Why are we here on the street in Bukit Bintang talking to someone like you? Not knowing either you will come or not, or you will accept us or not, but why we are here. Of course, a lot of people might not know why you are here. Then I share with them, because out of love. We are not here to force people to convert, no. We are here to share with people, to invite, as simple as that. To accept or not, no problem. It's entirely up to you. You have to make the decision. I have to make the decision. We will be held accountable for every decision that we make in this world. So regardless either you accept or not, that doesn't mean you have to become enemy with me. We still can become friends. Okay? Now, that's it. It's out of love that we share. It's out of love that we share. It is not out of hatred that we share, that we invite people.
Okay.
Although I know, and I have filed a defamation suit against someone, a YouTuber as well. I'm not going to mention the person name here, where that person claimed publicly on YouTube that, this Firdaus Wong, you know why he's doing all this preaching? Because with every one conversion, he will get 10,000 ringgit from certain religious institution for every one conversion. Let me tell you, it's false. It's not true.
You can't just say stuff like that, man.
We do not receive any monetary incentive from anyone just because someone become Muslim. We don't. And you know what? When someone become Muslim, meaning they already become what we call as new Muslim, Mualaf. When they are Mualaf, it is mandatory for me, for the religious organization, to give them zakat, meaning now I have to give money to the person to help the person. So what is the monetary reward? No, it's all nothing then. We are seeking only the pleasure from God, and that's it. But how can all these rumors flying around in the market? Why? Because somebody create a story. All these people, they become Muslim, they got this, they got this. When you convert someone, you will get 10,000, 50,000. I say, so easy, man. Then by now, if going with the kind of rumors and fake news, I'm supposed to be a multi-millionaire already. Because thousands of people have already embraced Islam with us. So you just make your own maths. 1,000 people, 10,000, 50,000 per person. Then I should become a multi-millionaire already by now.
Yeah, that's fair. But I guess partly, right, the reason that people have this sort of image, right, is that, well, of course it's complicated, right? Because for accomplishing your goals, right, you do need money. And it is a fact that, for example, right, on videos or Facebook posts, then you might put out a QR code, right? And the question that I guess is on people's minds, right, is that are you doing that for personal profit? It might not actually be from the government itself, right, that they give you money, right? But it can also be that given that religion is such a strong part of people's lives, right, then they feel like they want to contribute to something that will help to advance their cause, right? So in a sense, right, that might be where the whole idea of penunggang agama comes from, right? But of course, I mean, you can talk about the idea of penunggang agama, right? But there's this idea that a lot of people out there, they will use religion for the purpose of getting votes or getting people to donate. And then there are scandals like Aman Palestine. And then there's also a whole lot of those other things. Although, of course, there are scandals in other places as well. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from. And defamation is definitely not the kind of thing that the person should be doing.
You see,
why did he do that though? Why would he even make that claim? Do you know?
Because I'm going to answer the questions shortly. But when we look at all those kind of penunggang agama using religion, now some people might think penunggang agama is being exclusively only for the Muslim.
Oh, definitely not.
No, it's not true. We just have to be very truthful. We just have to be very rational. That have you heard about the controversial about this criminal breach of trust by Pastor Kong Hee in Singapore?
Of course, yes. Yeah, I know. It's a really, really famous. He was trying to fund the career of his wife, I recall.
You know how much he has siphoned out from the church money?
What, was it 50 million Sing dollars?
50 million Sing dollar to fund wife, singing career. Okay? No, but how many people talk about it? I don't deny. I'm not trying to be defensive here.
Yeah.
And my goal is never to be defensive. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Because either you are Muslim, you are non-Muslim, you are not a saint, neither you are an angel. You're bound to make mistake. Either how big is your mistake? That as simple as that.
Yeah.
Now, coming to getting vote, there are people who are using in all sorts. Let's talk about what happened in US right now. Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, he has the hands of the Bible,
praying,
right?
They are likened Trump to Jesus. Come on. Jesus, like it, he's like Jesus, and they keep on quoting the Bible verses to justify an attack. So okay, so
Oh, yeah,
we are not going there because that will be a separate topic. But what I say is that there are people going to use it. Even they are not Muslim, they will use Islam for their benefit. Even they are not Christian, they are not so religious, they will use religion. Even politicians, even celebrities, they will use it for their own benefit as well. Now, coming to fundraising, right? I have nothing to hide. Yes, NGO asking for fund, raise fund, fine. Nothing to be defended. But my bigger question will be, why a lot of people stop at Islamic NGO, but they do not look into the church, the Hindu temple, the Chinese temple, and all the other places of worship that are so asking for donation? Now, are you having, if this is a question to the audience that might have problem in that, do you have problem of people asking for donations to fund their activities, or do you have a problem of misappropriations of the fund? You have to decide first which one you are against. If you are against the misuse of the funding, then focus on this, then don't focus on the fundraising. Now, let me ask you also, Victor, if you still remember,
Sure.
many years ago, before COVID, we have this Tabung Harapan. You still remember?
So
now you're searching
not
for
immediately.
it. I can see your face is brightened up because you're opening the Google now.
I don't know.
No? Okay. Have you heard about the Tabung Harapan?
So that is the. So I'll just go ahead and put it on the screen actually. So then it is saying that is a fund launched by the Return 7 Malaysian Prime Minister. Oh dear, I wonder who that is. But yeah, so like that is basically 205 million ringgit being used to pay the debts of 1MDB. Interesting.
Now, but I don't know. Maybe there are latest news, but have anybody asked where have the 205 million gone? How it's being used? Now, have anybody, even those who criticize people who raise funds through NGOs or whatsoever, have they criticized the government or the person who launched the Tabung Harapan?
Yeah.
Number two. Number three, when Lim Guan Eng or maybe some others, I don't know, I took out the Lim Guan Eng part, when certain politicians, they lost in a legal suit and they raise fund. Now, it's a donation too. Why people do not criticize?
Yeah. I mean, like,
that's why I say, Victor, the issue is that having a principle that and consistent with the principle is the most important thing.
oh, for sure, yeah.
Right? So it's not about that. NGO, yes, you have to do your audit. NGO raise fund, okay, no problem. How about temple? How about Chinese temple? How about Hindu temple? How about churches?
Yeah.
Right? Every single. And do you know the mosque in Malaysia, just for your information, the mosque in Malaysia, they need to submit their audited account, okay, to the religious authority in the state. Yeah, they have to. But I'm not sure about other place of worship. And you have to understand, Victor, when someone go to the place of worship, like the masjid, like the temple, like the church, most of the time they are giving cash. I don't know, you have QR and transfer. QR and transfer is easier to trace. But now, when people give you cash, how do you make it accountable?
Very hard.
Very hard. Now, have people question about that? I'm not questioning them, but I'm just saying that you should pick something to focus on. Are you focusing on fundraising? You have problem with fundraising, or you have problem with fund being raised and yet being misused? Two different things.
Yeah, I think that's a fair
One at
question
one
actually.
time.
Yeah.
Right? One at one time. Do you having problem of people getting married, or you having problem with people getting married but not committed to the marriage? You have to decide.
Absolutely.
That's why Victor is still being single today, right?
If you know anyone that you want to intro, I'm not gonna be converted, so preferably non-Muslim. But yes. But
Who knows?
I think
Who
your
knows?
point.
Victor,
Whoa.
No,
Some people say that
Victor.
hidayah comes from God itself. You
No.
cannot decide one.
There's a misunderstanding, Victor. And if you still remember my story, I never planned to be a Muslim. And in my journey, in my Dakwah journey around the world, I have met tons and tons of people, not like you, not like you, but far worse, where they hated Islam so much that they want to kill a Muslim. They make a movie about Islam, lies about Islam, but eventually today they are Muslim.
That happens. It's
like
totally
you say,
understandable.
never say never. Just like when you talk about hidayah coming from Allah, that's true. But that also misunderstanding, not only from the not yet Muslim, but also from the Muslim themselves. They say, oh, hidayah ni datang dari Allah. But true, in general, there are two types of hidayah, guidance. One type of guidance is belong to God. Okay? That we have no right to interfere. But there is another type of guidance, which is a person can show a way. Like for example, I show you a way to Bukit Bintang. That is hidayah in another sense. I show you the way. But either you want to follow this guidance of mine by going through that route of me showing you. If you say, no lah, I don't want to follow Firdaus Wong lah. Okay, no problem. But if you could not reach Bukit Bintang, you cannot say, oh, there's no hidayah. No. The hidayah initially has been given to you, but you don't want to follow. So always there are two types of hidayah over there. So a lot of even the Muslim misunderstood the term hidayah only from Allah. No. True, but the hidayah from Allah is called hidayah to tawfiq. But another hidayah that human being can give and other creations can give is what we call as hidayah irshad, which means I can show you the way. I can tell you something. I can enlighten you. Either you want to follow up or not, that is entirely up to you. Yes. Okay, come, let's go.
Sure. Yeah. So this is actually fascinating, right? Because like I can clearly see, right, that like you have like a very strong passion for like this topic. Now, this is also something interesting that I wanted to note, right? So then your name is Wong Wai Hong, right? So like the interesting thing that I discovered, right, while I was researching a little bit, is that your name Firdaus, right, actually means paradise. Now you talked a lot about paradise earlier, right? So then how did you end up with this name? Do you remember like how you ended up choosing this name? And right. It's also a huge coincidence, right? Because like I only discovered that your name means paradise, right? While I was reading this book. Have you heard of this book before? It's called Paradise Lost by John Milton, the poet. I'm not sure if you heard about it before, but it's a very famous poem, we can say. And it's considered one of the most famous poems in the entire English language. And it's about Satan falling down into hell and then rebelling against God. So I thought it was a very interesting, shall we say, coincidence, right? That you named yourself after paradise. How did you end up choosing that name for yourself?
I choose the name upon recommendations by the officer over there. And
what? Seriously?
Okay. Again, for me, life is very simple. We, the human being, are the one who make life very complicated. For me, it's very simple. I don't like to be in a position where I'm stuck. Oh, here or there. No. I want to make sure that, for example, if Victor, you were to ask me, Firdaus, let's go out for lunch or for dinner. I don't like to be in a situation where, should I go or should I not go? No. I want to make a decision. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Then I will say where to eat. If I don't want to go, I will say don't want to go. I don't like to stuck in a position where, should I go? Should I not go? Should I go? Should I not go? Come on, just a decision. Okay, it's just a decision. It's like what Jeff Bezos have come up with this idea that making decision is like a two-way door or a one-way door. If you're making that decision that even if you swing back the two-way door, it doesn't hurt you much, then just make it immediately, don't delay. If it's a one-way door, then yes. If a one-way door that cannot swing back, then yes, that is where you need to consider further. You need to take a deep contemplation before you make that decision. But a lot of things in our life is very straightforward. So coming back to the name Firdaus, okay, they ask me, do you have any Arabic name? I say, I don't have, because I told you, throughout my life for 22 years, I never planned to be a Muslim, man. So why should I prepare a Muslim name for myself? But eventually, they inform me, okay, like this. Actually, if you were to retain your name, Wong Wai Hong, also okay, because Islamic name mean any name that have a good meaning, no problem. But if you want to add on an Arabic name in front, you know, that will be
Oh.
also okay. So I said, oh, like that also okay. So I say, in that case, tak apalah Ustaz, you
Ah.
give me one name lah. They say,
Oh.
okay lah. I suggest to you Adam, Firdaus. I say Adam, Adam too common already lah. I don't want. I say,
You
okay lah,
already have a
Firdaus,
Adam Lee in your MRM, right?
Adam Tan, Adam Tan.
Adam Tan, yeah. Bro Adam
Yes,
Tan,
yes,
right. Yeah, yeah.
yes. So, okay lah. I say Firdaus lah. I mean,
Oh.
of course, we have a lot of justification why we choose certain name. Like for example, you yourself, your good self, right, Victor? Is it in your IC or is just a name that you give yourself, or that you choose for yourself?
So that's a name that my parents gave me.
Okay. They have any reason? Because they want you to be the winner every time.
So my dad passed away when I was 6, so I never actually got to ask him. But I later asked my mom, right? And she mentioned that it's because, it's to make sure that you are a victor at some later point. So yeah, I mean, like, that is part of the reason.
People can give a lot of reason why they choose certain name.
Yeah, but it's hard
So
to say,
for me-
right?
Yeah. So for me, okay. Even during that time, he just told me, "Oh, it's the highest paradise." Oh, okay,
Wow.
okay, okay, okay. No,
Okay.
no, for me, no issue at all. Even I want to retain my name, no problem. So I have many Chinese revert here who didn't add on any Arabic name in front. They retain their original name, no problem. Up to you.
I
Yeah,
see.
as
Okay.
easy as that.
I
Yeah.
see. All right, cool. So when you
By
think,
the way, Victor, I mean, I would like to know more about you as well. Other than being a YouTuber, which I believe, I hope that I'm correct, that might not be your full time, it might be your passion. What are you really doing other than playing with your music, your violins, everything?
so I run an education company, so I serve like the Kiasu children who want to go off to study in the US and in the UK. So when you say like Kiasu, so what I mean by that is like people want to go to, let's say, Harvard or Yale or like other universities, for example, then like I advise them, I coach them on the SAT. So recently, by the way, I had a student who got a 1530 out of 1600. Congratulations, Daniel, in case you're listening to this at the moment. But a lot of people actually also want to aspire, right, for like a certain type of ambition. And in respect to what you said earlier about like paradise, right? So then they view, right, like certain places or universities, right, as a paradise for them where they can reach their highest aspirations. So I serve in that regard. And I think it's quite interesting because you start to understand, right, how people have a vision for themselves. Because you have to like really self-reflect, right? And really understand who you are as a person. So for me, I think that's one of the more interesting things about the life. And also one of the reasons why, right, I started this podcast. If you actually go on the list of podcasts, right, you will notice that on the list of guests, right, so like there are multiple people who went to like Harvard, Yale, and so on and so forth. In fact, right, like we also have on the podcast, right, the very first Malaysian Harvard student who went to an Islamic religious school. His name is Akil Asmi. So you can go ahead and watch that podcast a little bit later on. But yeah, so like that for me is like what I spend my time doing in a bunch of different ways. I also do quite a fair bit of affiliate marketing as well on
Okay.
YouTube and a whole range of other things. I'm not sure if you do that, or do you do like affiliate marketing at all, or like
I
is
don't.
selling?
No, I don't. If you check my Facebook, if my memory didn't fail me, I never do any paid review. Although I've been offered up to 20,000 per review, but I don't do that because
I see.
my reputations are far more important than the money. Because if I were to
Sure.
do a paid review, what happened is my followers might go and buy the things because of me, not because of they know the person or the brand.
I see.
But how if the service being provided and the or the product being sold to them is not up to the standard?
Sure.
And furthermore, as a Muslim, I cannot give false testimony. So I don't do paid review. Although you are being paid handsomely. Just imagine 5, 10, 20,000 per review. Wow. So I don't do that. If I want to do a review, I will do it for free.
I
I will
see.
do it for free, and I will do it in my way to help my friends. Just like a few days ago, I helped my friends who opening up a clay pot restaurant.
Oh
Without
yeah,
him
I saw
giving
that. Yeah.
without him giving
I
money,
saw that. Yeah.
I just help him to promote. Simple. Because my intention is to help. So if my intention is to help, then why should I charge? Right?
Mm.
So when people invite me for my talk, I don't charge. It's up to them. If they want to pay, you don't want to pay, up to you. But of course, I have my way of earning my living. I have some my other businesses that I'm earning my living.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good.
But so
In-
meaning you're working from home, Victor?
Yes.
I
So
see.
so which is why like actually you notice, right, that like I have a whole range of like different ergonomic, shall we say, like things right here. I mean, like if you look at this chair, for example. Have you seen this chair before?
Yes, ergonomic chair.
Yeah, it's an ergonomic chair. Yeah. So like I have a lot of these things that I, shall we say, like get for myself, right? To like try to make sure that I'm actually like
Wait, I saw a soft toy on your on your back. A soft toy. Is it a soft toy?
oh, which ones?
No. On your back.
So I'm not sure. There are a lot of soft toys though. I mean, like that's like quite a lot of them. I think this one might be like kind of like not, shall we say, like halal in that sense though, because like this one is probably like shirk in some way. This is a Pokemon. It's
Yeah.
basically meant to represent God in a bunch of
Yeah.
different ways. Yeah, but that's like from Pokemon. So yeah, I mean, like I have an interest in a lot of different
Pokemon,
things.
You even have the Pokemon's poster behind.
If you look at the chair right over there, so I have another
Yes,
chair,
that's
right?
a gaming
one is
chair, right?
Yeah. That one is a Secret Lab Pokemon edition, and that is basically the Pikachu, which is representative of like a certain idea in my life, I would say.
When
In fact,
is your when do you start to develop that kind of like or interest in Pokemon? Huh?
probably when I was like 8 years old, like when I was watching
That
my
was like
cousin play Pokemon in
15
Johor.
years ago, 15, 20 years ago.
Well, it's like a long time ago, but as you know, Asian don't race in, so you actually cannot tell one. I'm a bit younger than you, but like by how much, like it's a separate question.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So
But
when you are 8 years old,
yeah. I mean,
what makes you love? What makes you have interested so much in Pokemon?
first of all, you enjoyed the cartoon, like it would just like play. And then like, when you see somebody who's older than you, right? Somebody who is more wise than you playing the game, right? Then you ask yourself, hey, bro, what is that? And then like, you will say to yourself, oh, I also want to play. I also want to play. And when you're at that age, right, you just don't really question, you just want to imitate, right? And then like from there, then maybe you end up liking the thing or not liking the thing. And then somehow or another, then you end up like spending like thousands of ringgit on like plushies or like different things here and there. Like even that chair alone was like what, like 2,000 ringgit, which is like, yeah, I don't know. Like when I was younger, I would never have imagined, wanting to actually be involved, right, in Pokemon, but I just ended up liking it, and from there, then you just end up understanding certain things a bit later, which is also one reason, right, why to some extent, right, like I actually like can identify when you say that like, oh, so like you got into Islam, right, but then you didn't really understand it at the outset. It sounds bad to people, right, from the outside, right, but like you can also see how a person, right, can like that, like in that way and through that pathway. Because that was like for me with Pokemon. But of course, like whether people are okay with that is a separate matter, lah. But yeah, for me that was like Pokemon. So
And you have I think one, two, three violins with you.
so that's a cello, and then that is a violin, and then like
Okay.
we have
The
like a
guitar.
couple of other things there as well. Yeah.
Wow.
Do you play
The one.
any musical instruments? I mean, like I heard actually in some places, right, that like if you are Muslim, then like you cannot be listening to music. I definitely saw like a video, right, once where somebody was like saying that like you can't actually like be listening to music. I think it was like Sheikh. I can't remember, but he came for the Perlis Sunnah convention. I can't remember exactly which person he was. Yeah. But like, do you have any hobbies that you enjoy?
Yeah, because when I look at your instrument, it seems like you have learned and I mean learned how to play for quite some time as well. You like to sing as well?
Sing, I don't know lah, but one thing I can show you, right? One thing I can show you right now that is kind of not super difficult to show is this thing. Well, I can't believe I'm showing you this right now, but we have this. Have you seen this before?
Okay, okay. Okay.
So like what I'll do is I'll see if I can actually like move this over. I don't know if this is going to be like
I
the
saw
final.
that on TikTok that there are this guy, I think a black guy, he's playing with like a walk, where there's a lot of instrument. Yeah.
I see. Yeah. So I mean, this thing over here, right? Like, let me see if I can see.
Please share with us
Sure.
your talent.
Sure, why not? Hold on. So let me move this to desk view. I think you should be able to see this right now. And I need to adjust it a little bit. Okay. All right, maybe here. All right, now.
I can't hear you actually. There's no sound.
Oh, you can't hear. Okay.
Maybe your mic is condensed mic, so I can't still hear you.
Yeah, no, that's a possibility. Hold on. Okay. The mic, I'm gonna change it a little bit right here.
Okay.
Can you hear it now?
Yes, now. Now cannot. Now I can't hear you.
Oh, that is a shame. But yeah, I mean, like this thing over here is.
Have you make a video about you with you playing this instrument?
I can, but okay, maybe I can't show you an instrument right now because of the limitations of the technology.
Okay.
Happens to be, but I can show you this though. So let me see.
I still can't hear you. This one.
Why? What is going? Okay, hold on. Wait. Let me see if like it is actually possible to change the audio mode right now. Okay, good.
I think just now you on the sound cancel the
original sound. Okay, yes. Turn off high fidelity music mode. Okay, great. All right, listen to this. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
I can also do, by the way. Wow, we should be standing up there. Like otherwise later they'll be all saying, lucut kewarganegaraan.
in Cantonese we say you have yam ngok sai bao.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Actually, like if we can do this right now, actually, because I changed the settings a little bit, right? So then like I'll go with this. Okay. I don't think this is actually going to be like the final, but like I can show it to you.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you're absolutely. This is proof that you are very much still Chinese.
You are playing the chorus part.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I don't know if like you have like hobbies like that or like things that you enjoy in your personal life.
My main passion will be football because I used to play for Kuala Lumpur under 12, under 14, under 16, and also Malaysia football team under 17 and under 21.
Wow.
So yeah, yesterday I just have my football game as well.
Sesi mengurangkan lemak, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yes, and I scored hat-trick yesterday.
Okay, great. Wow.
For me, in our team, we have different races, different religions. Indian, Chinese, Malay, Sikh, everyone is there. So yeah, that's why I say is I don't really respond to a lot of people comment about me because people who talk about me, most of them they don't know about me or they pretend they know about me. Even they know about me is just as much as I allow them to know about me until they talk to me and meet me in person. Then they will know who I am. I won't justify who I am.
I see. Okay,
right?
Cool.
But truly, and I enjoy this conversation with you, Victor, where I can see you're multi-talented.
You are as well, yeah. And yeah, it's definitely like an honor to like be able to exchange like these kinds of ideas. But as we move to the final section of our conversation, right? So then
Yeah.
I want to ask you a bit again, right, about Ryan Selva.
Yeah.
When we saw what happened with Ryan Selva, right? So he did something that's obviously unforgivable, right? So then like you see people who are saying that like he should have his kewarganegaraan dilucutkan, amongst other things. So that's what people are saying, right? And people are also saying that like, well, he shouldn't be allowed to be a part of Malaysia anymore. But one thing that I saw, right, is that some people say, right, that this is actually a tactic, right, that people can use in order to avoid, right, the problems that come along, right, when a person does something as horrible as that, like memijak Al-Quran. So then a comment, right, that I got from my YouTube channel came from this person who said this. It is highly possible to protect yourself, right, from, let's say, people trying to punish you, dox you, or like go after you, right, for stepping on the Quran. Because I have come across a few associates who converted to escape severe punishment for their crimes. It's an open secret, and you can see this person doesn't like you. He doesn't like you at all. That buffoons like Firdaus Wong uses to convert others. It also even happens in jail. So my question for you, right, is like, okay, so we don't know whether the person is sincere or is like not sincere, right? But like for you, right, like how does it make you feel when you think about Ryan Selva and the way that he converted, but then actually, right, like he might not have converted. He might have come to you, right? The correct person, yes, him, but like maybe he did it because he wanted to like mock your belief or he wanted to lie to you or fool you, that kind of thing. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Number one, to respond to the comment, which I don't know who is that person is. Well, just because this is where stereotype coming from. Just because you or we have encountered certain people who do that, who did that, doesn't mean that is what everybody is doing it, right? So just because somebody, a group of people do it, doesn't mean that is everybody. Okay, somebody escape it. Simple. You can use a lot of example of other people using different things to escape punishment as well by joining a political party. Right?
Nice one. I like that. Yeah.
By joining a political party. Now, number one. Number two, if I may, to correct the word that you used just now about unforgivable, which for me, I would say with due respect that it is forgivable. It is forgivable sin. Why? It's the same thing that I reiterate in my posting, in my comment as well. I say, yes, what he have done is wrong and he should be punished. And the reason why I came out to talk about him is basically not to defend his mistake or his crime, not at all. And in fact, in both of my posting about him, I say it very clear. Either he is Muslim or non-Muslim doesn't play a role in the judgment. Okay? He should be punished for his crime. Simple, period. Now, then coming back to your questions number 3, where about maybe he want to mock my belief, the religions or whatsoever. When anybody come to me, at first, my role and my job as a Muslim is that to have a good thought about that person. In Arabic, we call it as husnuzon. Husnuzon means having a good thought. Example, easy, since I'm talking to you. I don't know you. Before this, only through this conversation, I know you. Now, when you send me the invite, okay, if I were to start questioning your intention, why this Chinese chap want to talk to me, want to have YouTube, what he's setting up me, what he's up to, now I can do that. I can do that. But for me, okay, since you come to me, you come and approach, of course, most of the time is my staff who respond to you. Since you come to me in a nice way to invite me upon, did I charge you for this podcast?
Nope.
Did I demand for money? No,
Nope.
right? Yeah. So, since you come to me in a nice way, you want to have a conversation, regardless who you are,
Thank you for that, by the way.
then I would say, okay, I don't question your intention and I want to believe. I could be wrong. I want to believe you have a good intention. So that's why I come on board on this podcast to have this conversation with you. So likewise, when Ryan, he came to me, he only met me once. Now, he met me once and he came all the way from Kuantan to Bukit Bintang just to meet me.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not know until what extent people are willing to do in order to mock my belief that they're willing to travel all the way from Kuantan to Bukit Bintang to meet me for a few hours and then go back to Kuantan. I do not know. I do not know what kind of people that will willing to text me, okay, quite very frequent, to ask about Islam, to talk about Islam, to express his love for Islam, to express his desire to be a Muslim, to learn about Islam, to do what I'm doing, whatsoever. Frequent basis, even sometimes I forgot to reply him because I'm too busy. Like right now, almost 2 hours conversation with you. There's a lot of messages that I don't reply to, that sometimes I forgot to reply. And eventually, he kept on pushing me that he wants to become a Muslim. I do not know what is his intention when he do that. But I just want to believe that, okay, he asked me to help him to be a Muslim. He want me to take his Shahada. In fact, he already took his Shahada. He just want me to witness again his testimony of faith. So I do whatever I can and duly oblige and help him.
Sure.
As simple as that. Either he have a bad intentions or not, it's not my job to question his intention.
I see.
But of course, it's my job to question his actions of stepping on the Quran. Okay? To stepping on the Quran. And it's the same thing that I have mentioned to my audience on my social media. You should not, and we should not, say that we will not forgive that person. Yes, he have committed a mistake. But Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he say, every children of Adam will commit mistake and commit sin, and the best of sinners are the one who repent. I say, hypothetically, for me, I know that he have took his Shahada. Either he still consider himself as a Muslim or not, it's none of my business already. I done my part. I have already advised him to go and register himself because he's in Kuantan, register himself, and he didn't do it eventually. Okay, I can't force him. Force him. And now, yes, he might have committed this mistake and potentially a crime, and he will be punished most probably because he already been kicked out from his university. He might be punished. Now, the maximum penalty for the crime that he have committed, maximum in jail is only 2 years and fine up to 50,000. It can be both. Now, are you telling me after, if let's say he being penalized, he being punished to serve jail for 2 years, are you telling me after 2 years he have no chance to repent? He is still very young. He is still around 21, I think 2021 only. Okay? Now, even after 2 years, he could be just 23. Are you telling me being a Muslim, I cannot forgive him for something that God can forgive him for? I can't. I can't. If God say this is not a severe crime, that he must die for it, then why should I punish someone to hellfire for eternity for a crime that he can repent? If he want to repent, and if one day he were to come back and say, oh, Brother Firdaus, I'm so sorry for what I have done, blah, 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 and I would like to become Muslim officially. Okay, can we say, no, for whatever crime you have done, I will not forgive you? No, I can't. That is unacceptable for me to do that. Coming to that, I'm not sure either you are aware about this. A few years ago, there is this incident in this comedy house, if you still remember.
I remember. That's the crack comedy house, right? If I'm not wrong.
Crack house comedy.
House comedy, yeah.
Do you know that today, the former owner of Crack House Comedy, Riza Wengeza, do you know today that we are friends?
Ah, I see.
Yes. Today we are friends. Of course, during that time, quite a lot of Muslims criticize him, condemn him. But I choose not to. Not because I could not. You see, there is a difference between choose. I make the decision not to condemn him. But in fact, I wrote an open letter to him. Not knowing either he's going to read or not, I don't know. But I just wrote to him. I just say, to my dear brothers in Islam, my faith, Brother Rizal. I wrote in Malay, of course. So when I met him 1-2 years ago, he met me and we hugged each other. which for me is a surprise because I thought he's going to hate me because, I'm exposing whatever that he have done. And he said, thank you. He said, thanks to me. Thanks to me, not in a sarcastic way, in a way that you can feel his sincerity. And then he was like, thank you so much, because he said, it's actually, Brother Firdaus, it is your open letter that show it to me that there are still Muslims who care for me.
Yeah, that's like really nice. I mean, like, I'm glad to hear that everything ended up getting resolved in such a nice way.
For me, as a Muslim, I cannot do anything that contradict the teaching of Islam, despite my emotions might want me to do that. Because I have to let my faith to guide my decision, being rational and not being emotional. If we just follow our emotional, we're going to commit a lot of mistake, and severe mistake as well. So
That's true.
how can I say I would not forgive someone when God say he will forgive and he can forgive?
That's true.
The only thing that God would not forgive if that person were to die in that state is only the sin of shirk, meaning associating partners with God, or worshipping other than God, or believing there are other God than Allah himself. So that's the only thing. But while the person is still alive, I still have to make effort to do dakwah, to invite. Either they want to listen or not, it's up to them.
That's true.
I can't do much. So going back to the Ryan's witness warrant, I have reached out to him. I've reached out to his lawyer as well, and see where it will bring us to.
Wow.
Simple as that.
Interesting. So I guess like this idea of forgiveness is important, but we
have to balance between the idea of forgiveness and justice. Sometimes a lot of people, they just focus on forgiving, but no justice being served. No, you always have to balance between justice and also forgiveness. Sometimes just because you want justice doesn't mean you don't forgive. Okay? Sometimes someone choose to forgive doesn't mean they ignore justice. No, both these ideas have to go hand in hand.
I see. Yeah. So I guess like you can't have a situation where somebody like Ryan goes and then like he gets out of jail, then he steps again, and then later that he goes back into jail 2 years later that he says that he repented, but then like you can't really judge the future behavior of a person.
The crime that he committed have to be punished on this using the current law. But if he were to sincerely repent to God, to Allah, well, done. It's between him and Allah already. Who am I to say I will not forgive you? In fact, there is a clear saying of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, where he talked about a situation on the day of judgment where two persons will be held accountable in front of God. One is someone who advised people, another one is a sinner. But this person who tried to advise this person to repent, but eventually he used a word and he say, Allah will never forgive you for what you have done. And Allah caused both of them to die at the same time. What happened is, on the day of judgment, Allah asked this person first. Allah didn't ask the sinner first. Allah asked this person first, who asked people to do good, who advised people to do good. Allah asked him, hey, did you say to this person that me would not forgive him for the sin that he has committed? Of course, in front of Allah, you cannot lie. So this person said, yes, oh Allah. Allah asked him a simple question. Have I give you any right, any authority to represent me to say that I will not forgive you? Forgive him. And then the person say, no. Of course you cannot lie. Then Allah says, today with my mercy, I forgive his sin. This sinner will go to paradise. And this guy speak on behalf of God without authority. Allah says, today you will be dragged to hell. Now, that is what Islam is teaching us is all about. It has to be all-encompassing, holistic. We cannot take the text outside of the context. If you want to talk about Islam, you have to talk in totality. You cannot just take one segment of Islam and neglect the other part of it.
That's true.
Cannot. I just cannot take Victor as a Victor Tan, but not talking about other things that you are doing as well.
That's true. Yeah, it's definitely holistic for sure. And when you think actually about what you just said, right? Like I think that it's very like admirable that you would say that, right? Like, I think that that message of forgiveness, right, is something that we do need, right? But when we look around the society that we have today, right, we see a very divided society. And a lot of times, right, a lot of these people who are doing the dividing, right, like they are some of the most religious people in the first place as well. The message that you've shared, right, of like forgiveness and various other things like that is very different from what we see out there in the world, right? And that's maybe one reason why, right? Like when people look at the behaviors of these people who say that they are Muslim, right, then they may like end up distrusting or other things like that. If you were to say something to these people, right, and like maybe like advise them in terms of like how they should behave, right, so that they can show a better example to other people, like what would you say to them?
Well, I done my part to advise people. As simple as that. And I think it's also not fair just to point out on the Muslim part alone, because
Fair.
like you have mentioned earlier that, people from different faith also have. I give you a simple
Yeah, yeah.
example. I'm not sure your faith, in which I will not question you or ask you about this, but a Christian preacher and Christian have preached, love your enemy. That is what Jesus taught you. If
Wow.
people give the other cheek, right?
Mm.
Now, then in this case, why does all this pastor in US go and kill and condone the actions by Trump to attack and kill the innocent people? Why not give your other cheek? Why not love your enemy in that case?
Yeah,
Right?
that's absolutely
So,
true.
no, we just have to, again, it's human, it's individual, it's individual. They read the same Quran that I read. Of course, we have temptations, we have desire, we have emotion. So the real test in this world is where there is an option for you to choose. There is no test when there's no option. Options for you to do good or to do bad is an option. It's a
Absolutely.
decision that you have to make. Right? So this kind of scenario, we always have it until the day of judgment. I will say it until the day of judgment. And why there are quite a number of people that leave religion and become an atheist and not to believe in God, because they are disappointed with what they see in people who proclaim themselves in following particular religion. But what they lack of is that they do not think logically. That if you decide to live a particular religion because of an actions of a certain group or individual that follow that faith, then you are not supposed to even be an atheist too. Because in atheism, you have people you have atheists who commit crime too.
Very true.
So why? So you and just because there's a suffering that you don't understand why suffering happened, that doesn't mean God doesn't exist. It's just that you do not understand yet the wisdom of the suffering too. How many times in our life, Victor, that you and me, we have gone through certain things, and at that particular point of time, we felt that, shit, I'm gonna die. I will not overcome this. But somehow, what doesn't kill you make you stronger. And then only after a few years, you see the wisdom of what happened to us few years back, during that time that we feel like we want to give up, but by the virtue and the blessing from God, that He helped us not to give up, and today we are who we are today because of that. And that is the wisdom. There are a lot of things in our life today that we don't see the wisdom, and we give up. Why is there a suffering? If there's a suffering, there's no God. No. Even though after you become an atheist, you don't believe in God, you will still not be able to find the wisdom and why there is still suffering. Because just because you become atheist, the suffering just doesn't go away automatically.
Definitely
It will still
not.
be there.
Yeah.
It will still be there. And in fact, those people who do not believe in God or subscribe to any religion, they fall deeper into the darkness of not knowing why there's a suffering. They have more questions. But for people who follow religion, regardless whatever religion, I don't want to misrepresent other religion. I want to speak on behalf of Islam. At least in Islam, you know that human beings are being created in this world. Yes, there's a blessing, but this life is a test. So at least you know suffering is a test. Blessing is a test. Whatever we have is a test. So at least you still have the wisdom. But how about people who have no belief? People who have no religion? People who don't believe in God? Just because they become atheists, does all the suffering suddenly just vanish? It's not. It's still there.
That is true. I mean, if you look at the Buddhists, they might say that suffering is everywhere. The existentialists might then say, though, that when you go about life, you create your own exam. You find the way of existing in this world. Of course, like, you know, if you have a particular theological faith commitment, then maybe that's a different story altogether. But it's good actually that people have a certain kind of framework. And I also wanted to show you this, by the way. And by the way, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I know that like it's past our timing, but one thing I do want to show you, and then also I have a surprise for you as well, right?
Okay.
Now, the first thing is I have seen these kinds of penunggang agamas as well, like in Christianity. In fact, like I had to actually talk about one of them who went out there and then tried to convert people on my channel. I was just like, I cannot. Like, this is like exactly the kind of person that you see in like your, I don't know, whether it's like the family table or Jinjang or otherwise. And
Wait,
yeah,
have you
it's
been to
very
Hong Kong?
interesting.
Have you
Of
been
course,
to Hong
yeah,
Kong?
yeah, I have, yeah.
You've been to Hong Kong. Now, in Hong Kong, if you see in Cantonese, our Cantonese in Malaysia mostly are being influenced by the Hong Kong.
Yep.
Okay. Now, why when someone is talking about religion or talking nonsense, what is the Cantonese word for someone talking nonsense?
Fai Hua.
除咗廢話,
Mm-hmm.
there is another thing that is useless or non-beneficial. Or when
Oyong
someone
嘅。
is talking about religion,
嗯
你睇啦，又講耶穌咯，又講耶穌咯，你經啦，又講耶穌咯，
嗯
right?
Right.
Now, 耶穌 is Jesus. Why Cantonese word originated from Hong Kong? They have this 講耶穌 kind of things. Because back in Hong Kong last time, when, you know, they have a lot of preacher on the ground that preach people to convert to Christianity in Hong Kong. That's why the Hong Kong people, they become so allergic. 又講耶穌啦，又睇呢個，又講耶穌，又講耶穌啦，又講耶穌啦，
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, those are also penunggang agama in that sense, right? Now, that is what
Debatable.
that is what I say, that basically what, like, I applaud you for what you have done, that you will have that in every single community and every single society.
For sure. Yeah.
But just because we face that and we know the reality, we should not paint everybody with the same brush.
That's right.
Individuals
I agree.
need to be rational. What I'm trying to educate the public is to be rational, having a rational discussion, a healthy discussion, not name calling, not labeling. Just because you label someone doesn't make you smart. Just because you call someone stupid doesn't make you smart.
Yeah.
No.
Fair.
In fact, when you call someone stupid, sometimes it reflects on your stupidity as well.
Yeah. And there's actually a phrase in the Bible that says if you point one finger at another person, you are pointing 4 or 3 at yourself, which is something that I find like very interesting as well.
Yeah. So that is what I meant, that if you go to Hong Kong, and right now, even in Hong Kong, if you ask people, what religion do you believe in? What they will say? They will say, 我瞓覺咯，瞓咩覺咯，瞓覺咯，
Sleeping.
Sleep 啦，瞓覺 is sleeping.
Yeah.
Why? Because they become too allergic. And when I was in Hong Kong many times, because I was being invited over there to conduct some talk and program as well. So when I talk to the non-Muslim over there as well, they even say, Sun Yong, Sun Gao, no religion. Why? I thought, because when we watch Hong Kong movie, you will see the idols will be inside, blah, blah. They say, hey, our house here is so expensive. We still got place for God. No place. That's what they say. So they become too allergic. Of course, economic decision and reason as well that cause them not to believe in any religion.
Yep. Possible. Yeah, I mean, like, there can be a lot of different reasons, lah. But actually, this is related to the surprise that I'm going to show you right about now. And again, thank you for this incredibly civil and very mature conversation that we've had so far. And this is the surprise. I conducted a poll on my channel, and it goes, choose your Mualaf. You are more popular than Ridwan T. Abdullah. 70% of all the people who chose their favorite Mualaf chose you over Ridwan T. Abdullah. And this is just like an opinion of mine, right? But like, if we look at your page right here, 619k followers, 160k followers, right? If you look at like his posts, right? His posts actually get more engagement than yours. But if you actually look into what he says, right? Like, it's, I don't know, it's a lot of stuff that like you could say is a lot more divisive than what you may be creating like here and there and everywhere. But I do believe that there is a very definite role for discussions like these. And I know that like some people might think that like it's dangerous to even like talk about these topics, or you can't really like have a free conversation about these kinds of topics. And thank you so much for extending your time so graciously to me. And also for, well, doing what you believe in. I don't think that we have like the exact same way of like viewing the world. It's probably in a very different lens and stuff of that nature. But
Definitely, definitely.
yeah, definitely. But we had a very nice conversation as well. And yeah, so thank you so much for your time.
Victor, is the existence of this world, the fact that we still can live along together in this world, not because we have a lot, not because we have to agree in every single thing. No, there is the diversity of this world that we have to accept. And what's more, me being a Muslim, it's already being accepted that God have created different tribes and nations so that you may know one another, right? So that's how it works. That's how it works. And that's what makes it so wonderful. If you want everybody to think alike, then actually no one is thinking when everybody is thinking alike. No, it's not. It's not. Just like there's a famous saying, great mind thinks alike. But that is just half of the quote. The full quote is, great mind thinks alike. Just like the fool too. The fool also think alike. So, no. For me, the diversity is always there. The disagreement will always be there. But how do you handle all the disagreement in a civilized manner? In a civilized manner.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
is most important. We, until the day of judgment, until we die, we as a Malaysian, we will not be able to agree on every single thing 100%. Even on public holiday, we might not agree as well. Why? For the staff, for the employee, they were like, oh, holiday, good, the government announced an holiday. But for the employer, dialogue, holiday, how to be productive? So how can you be agree? You cannot agree.
Yep.
It could be agree if they say the government were to give everyone money, but still you will have the opposition party will not agree to it. So how? No. Accept the reality. Do not live in denial. Do not live in fantasy that we will agree one day on everything. No, not at all. And last but not least, Victor, before we end the conversation, is that I would like to invite your audience and anybody who are watching this, is that remember that we are living in a country where democracy is. I know democracy doesn't mean that we have to be democracy. Okay? Number one. Number two is that since we are talking about democracy, sometimes some people might say, we do not want this Islamic country. We do not want this. We do not want this. Cool. On one hand, you cannot say you are supporting democracy, but yet you denying the very essence of what democracy is all about, is that what the majority decide to have. If let's say the majority of the population decide to have this way of life, you will still have a minority who against it. So you still have to follow the democracy rule where follow the majority who decide for that. We might disagree. If let's say one day because of democracy, certain things are being enacted in the parliament, the Muslim might disagree. But the law is as such. That is how democracy works. The majority speak. So if let's say one day that yes, Malaysia become more Islamic in that sense, example, we cannot say, oh, I'm against this. Okay, you can against it, but you cannot say that it's unconstitutional. Why? Because that's what democracy have decided for. You cannot say you go for democracy, but yet you deny the very essence of democracy.
That is true. On that point, actually, the will of the people, right, is a very nebulous thing. Like, it's true what you say, right? That, like, you can't deny what people actually want because that goes against the spirit of democracy. But part of the spirit of democracy is also, right, to be able to talk about things, right? And to have people see a different way of doing things. Of course, like at the end of the day, right? Like you still make the vote, you still end up going to parliament, and then like people still end up making the speeches. But yeah, so I would agree that if people decide a certain way, then that is democracy. But it is also in democracy to be able to change people's minds. Yeah.
I'm not sure either I think 2 years ago, 2 years ago in Singapore, where they have the debate. I think this Minister of Law, Shanmugam whatsoever, he criticized the opposition party about
one of my favorite
Malay
ministers. Yeah.
a Malay, where he say, you know, Singapore is a secular government, a secular nation. You know, you cannot mix politics and religion.
Okay.
So the Malay MP say, but my religion do not separate between politics and life.
So
Okay.
you're referring to Faisal Manat, and he's from the Workers' Party, and
Yes.
basically, yeah, I remember
Now,
that. I actually made a video about that. Yeah.
this is where the paradox is. Why? On one hand, you say freedom of practicing religion, but until one extent. Now, just because you believe secular is a way of life, you cannot enforce upon the Muslim, do not mix the politics and religion, because it's part of the religion.
They call it Al-Din, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, ad-din, the way of life. You just cannot enforce upon them like that. If you say, no, you can't. No, but my policy, the decision that I'm going to make, me as a Muslim, I am not a different Firdaus when I'm making a policy for the people, because I'm still a Muslim. Even when I'm sleeping, I'm still a Muslim. Even when I'm doing businesses, I'm still a Muslim. Even when I talk to you, I'm still a Muslim. You just cannot take a Muslim out of me when I talk to Victor.
That's true. Yeah.
It's like people say, you can take Firdaus out of Jinjang, but you cannot take the Jinjang out of him.
Right, yeah.
You can't.
I know
You just can't. This is how you understand. You might still disagree with me, Victor. You might still disagree with me by saying, no, Firdaus, you cannot and you should not. We have seen all this disaster when people mix religion and politics. But trust me, don't have to trust me. Trust your own research. Make your own calculation and make your own research. That most of the disaster and the calamity and the war that happened in this world is not caused by mixing religion and politics. It's because of too much of secularism, too much of capitalism. So now, should we take out capitalism out of politics now? You will say, no. Why? You say religion is the cause, but religion is not the cause. You look at all the war, it's not being caused by religion. It's caused by capitalists who are selling weapons, who try to monetize on certain things, and etc., etc. Until the end, we will still have disagreement on this matter. But yet, this is where civilized discussion, this is where rational and matured people gonna face it, where you can say you dislike, you disagree. But you cannot, if you want to stop me, you have to stop me in the right way, using the constitution, using the law. But meanwhile, you cannot stop me from doing what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
You cannot stop me from propagating. When I speak up about this, Islam is adin, religion and politics is together. We do not separate. You cannot say, oh, you should stop saying it. Wait. Aren't you the same person who say freedom of speech? But why when I speak, you don't allow me to speak? So where is the freedom of speech? You just cannot have the paradox over there. But because when you look at a lot of people, what they say, they always contradict themselves. Oh, you should not force upon other people. Okay, I agree, you should not force upon other people. But now by you asking me not to force upon other people, aren't you forcing me, your opinion against me?
Right.
No, you just cannot have paradox.
That's true.
But a lot of people, when they are being exposed having this paradox and contradictions, what happened is, they will start to name calling you and label you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the moment someone label you, you know, done. You won.
I see. Yeah, I think that's definitely like a problem. But in relation to that specific point, right? So then, Article 11 of the Constitution of Malaysia, right? It says these specific words, right? So every person has the right to profess and practice his religion and subject to Clause 4 to propagate it. Now, there's a very specific thing, right, in 11.4 that says, state law and in respect of the federal territories of Kuala Lumpur, Labuan, and Putrajaya, federal law may control or restrict the propagation of any religious doctrine or belief among persons professing the religion of Islam. Now, I have no intention of spreading religion, right, to people who are Muslim. But in following with the line of what you had mentioned earlier, right? So you say that basically you cannot stop people from speaking about religion, right? So would that then apply, right, to people who have other faiths as well? Or do you feel that there is really such a fundamental separation, right, that in this country, there can never be an exchange of religious ideas to the point that, well, other people, right, might be inclined to follow one pathway over the one that you happen to be preaching?
Victor, my personal opinion, might not be able to influence the law.
Mhm.
Having the opinion, my personal belief, I encourage people to have open discussions about religion. But again, that is just me. But the law still say the other faith cannot propagate to the Muslim. Should I go against the law? Should I go against the constitution? I can't. But just because I have this inclination and this openness doesn't mean I have to enforce against other people that you must follow my way. Because as long as everything is still stipulated in the constitutions and the law, now this is where the peace and harmony will come. Because when everybody is following the law and the constitution, it's easier, right? It's easier. So coming back to propagations, a lot of people ask me the same question. This is what being agreed upon by the lawmakers and by our founding fathers. It's not by you and me. Even you ask me, I can tell you my view, but that doesn't change the law. If you really want to change it, you should not get angry at me. How would you feel? How would the Chinese people feel, or the non-Muslim or non-Malay feel when somebody say, okay, abolish all vernacular school?
Well,
They will say, you cannot say that because that is unconstitutional, because vernacular school is constitutional. Now, when it comes to your right, it's all about constitutional.
very true.
But when it comes to other things which do not fit you and fit what you want, you say we should change the constitution.
Yeah.
Let be consistent. If you want to challenge anything in this country, go through the legal means. Change the constitution, change the law, talk to your member of parliament. Do not criticize other people for something that we do not decide for. Example,
That's true.
the constitution. Victor, you and me doesn't decide. Your parents doesn't decide. Your grandparents and my grandparents doesn't decide. It's the founding fathers who agree. Now, when they already agree, simple. I give really last. Imagine, your grandfather and my grandfather have already agreed to sell. My grandfather agreed to sell the bungalow at 100,000 ringgit. Okay. Now, fast forward today after 30 years. Of course, the 100,000 ringgit bungalow have already become, supposedly, market value?
Millions.
Millions. Okay, let's take 1 million.
Wow,
Now,
1 million for bungalow is like a bit optimistic. Let's say five.
Just example.
Sure. Fine, 1 million.
So, Victor, today, if I were to come to you to represent my grandfather, hey, Victor, your grandfather last time agreed to buy this bungalow 100,000, but after 30 years, it's already increased to 1 million. You should pay me 1 million. What would you say? You have the contract. I have the contract. You have the contract. We have the same contract. What will you say to me when I make the claim? No, Victor, I don't care. I want 1 million today because this is the value of the property today.
Wow, that one is exactly the problem that Tun Mahathir faced when negotiating the price of water with Singapore. But in this case, I would probably, if I want to, it depends on what I want, right? So, like, for example, if I'm like you and I want to maintain, let's say, my reputation, that kind of thing right there, then in that case, then I will honor the contract, right? But at the end of the day, then I will curse myself and then say like, walao, like in the future, then like this will never be a thing again. But if I really, really want to like profit from the bungalow, that kind of thing, right? And human beings, like they have done this sort of thing before, right? Then in that case, then they will come up with all sorts of things to say like, oh, the contract is not valid. What's the provenance? Where did it come from? And all sorts of things, right? But at the same time, right, you have to be aware that if it really was signed from the time of your grandfather, right, then there will be real and logistical issues with verifying the actual provenance of the contract or whether it's valid. But we assume that it's real, right? In that case, then yeah.
Hypothetically, is authentic, is true. No
Sure.
issues about that authenticity, in which you and me both agree that it exists. It is
Correct.
true and it's authentic. It is
Yep.
not a point of contentions.
Yep. So case number one. So if I really want to maintain my name, I agree that the contract is valid, right? In that case, then I will honor the contract. But if I know and then I want to profit from it, then in that case, then I will dispute the contract for the purpose of the profit. So that's why we have like two cases here, right?
Will you pay me 100,000 or 1 million? The contract stipulated clearly is 100,000 ringgit.
Yeah. So in that case, then, well, 100,000 lah. I mean, like,
Exactly. But I would say, hey, come on lah, Victor. Walao eh. How can like that, bro? 100,000 is last time, bro. Every year 5% increase inflation, you know.
correct.
Unya, bro. Count lah, make your own calculation lah, bro. 1 million lah, bro. Bro, I can claim from you 1 million with only one condition, that you agree to it. That both parties agree to it. It cannot be one-sided. Correct?
True.
So likewise, to our fellow audience, the logic is very simple. The constitutions and the law is already there, even most of us, before most of us are born into this world. Okay, if you want to change the constitutions cannot be changed just because you want it.
Yep.
Just because you want it. It have to be agreed upon by 2/3 of the member of parliament.
Correct. Yes.
So the key here is that they have to agree. They have to draft a new constitution. Until then, we should protect our peace and harmony by not criticizing other people just because somebody want to retain that constitution, but you want to change. Then okay lah, discuss about it in a civilized manner. Do not blame each other as if, hey bro, blame me for that constitution. Hey bro, you think I'm there when I'm draft the constitution?
Cannot. Yeah.
You also not there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So cannot. So do not criticize other people or blame other people for something that they have no control for.
Yeah. It's
Simple.
very complex. Yeah, and
it's actually not complex. It's complex when we perceive it to be complex. It's just very straightforward. You want to draft the constitution, you want to change the constitution. The constitution say in order for you to amend the constitution is 2/3.
Yeah, for sure.
Then go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. But I agree though that like one of the roles of conversations like these, right, is to make sure that people can continue having that conversation to sort of like go on and on. It's just that sometimes like you wonder, right? Like, is this project that we have called Malaysia, where you have a diverse society, right, going to sort of like be diminished, where people might move out of it, right? Because like they give up on this place because of like a bunch of different things, which is something that we see like nowadays, lah. But I think to the extent that, you know, we agree that civilized conversation is important, right? Then it is going to be important for us to continue having this dialogue. We don't know whether people are going to change their minds or that kind of thing, but that's also part of democracy, I would say. Yeah.
I won't focus on changing people's mind. They have to change their own mind. They have to change their own thinking. Then the rest is up to them. But until then, we continue to do what we need to do, and the rest is up to them.
For sure.
The rest is entirely up to them.
Absolutely. And that is an amazing point to end our conversation. And thank you, bro, Firdaus Wong. It was an absolute honor. And thank you so much for taking the time. I don't know if you have to rush off to somewhere or anything like that, but yeah, really thank you so much for sharing your thoughts.
I think almost 2.5 hours.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although originally it's supposed to be 1 hour, but 2.5 hours. So thank you so much, Victor. Hopefully, you know, this conversation of ours can benefit your audience and my audience as well, and hope they will listen and watch with an open mind, without prejudice, and to contemplate for themselves.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
أنت وهاب العطاء